The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion, we can do it together. When we look to the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People say the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it all goes now, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party. The following is brought to you by the People's National Party.
Make the trumpets play. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion, we can do it together. When we look to the future of precipice, we see Jamaica needs the vision of the PNP. People say the bag of promises, them can't carry go shop. And the crime rate getting higher, wonder when it all goes now, comrades. Jamaican people want better. Economy coming like stormy weather. Ancestors are turning on them grave. To get champion.
The proceeding was brought to you by the People's National Party.
The scale of dealing with anti-corruption issues. So there is a learning curve that we are going through. What is important is that the government supports the development of the institution so it can accelerate very quickly on that learning curve and provide the resources so that they can move very quickly on the learning curve, and that the government does not intervene or interfere. And that message goes to the opposition as well. Leave the anti-corruption and policing agencies to do their jobs. So why you come to me with that foolishness, you know? You elect a prime minister, and is a prime minister run the country. It is time we learn to hold our leaders accountable for their actions and stop making excuses for them. Stop making excuses. Otherwise, go elect the people who really run in the country. And I don't want the right start that stupid argument. Hold the people you elect accountable. And stop making excuses for them.
Hello, welcome. Happy Friday to those in television land. Happy Friday to our silent supporters. Happy Friday to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, guys, thumbs up the live when you come in. Share us out if you can, and if you are new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. That will be greatly appreciated. Hope everyone has had a wonderful and productive start to the week so far. Tonight's topic is We Shall Overcome, with your host, Byron and Marie, Pastor Ricky. Melton Pot should be joining us soon, and also Mr. Rattigan. Let me just welcome those in the chat. Patel Cruikshan, Happy Yes, Beverly, Blendon Berger, Falmouth Girl 2, our channel member, bless up yourself. Merlin Molioson, Una Vassal, One Indian, Carla Ebanks, Carol Hewitt, Pamela Okolo, Chuck Clive, Beres White, Maxine Fraser Bell, Rennie Swaby, Don Mel, Carol Johnson, Noreen McLean, Cecile Phillips, Bloomy Coleman, Damian Goss, Doris McCoy, Rosa, Charmaine Flowers, Vendetta King Allard, Sonia Ellis, Sean Williams, Just Me Looking, Yvonne Johnson saying good night, Mr. and Mrs. Sensation to each and everyone in Jesus' name. And Barbara Giwa, bless up yourself, welcome. Louis Longshaw, and Bennett Anthony R. Before we start, let me just ask Pastor Ricky to lead us off in a word of prayer. Devon Fletcher, bless up yourself. Angela Cole.
Amen. Let us pray. Thank you again, Lady Anne Marie, Sir Byron, Sir Rattigan, Sir Melton Pot. Father, we thank you tonight once again as we, your children, are gathered in your name, in your presence, for no other time than this. We thank you, oh God, that you have brought us to another day. And as we come tonight to share information and revelation, we pray, mighty God, for your daughter, Lady Anne Marie, as she navigates through the different clips and videos and documents. Continue to guide her thoughts and her thinking. We pray that the internet will be steadfast, that there will be no interference, no disruptions. We thank you, mighty God, for your son, Sir Byron. Continue to inspire him to do the research and the deep dive. And we thank you for the presentation that is about to be made. Bless him and his wife, Lady Anne Marie. Bless their children and grandchildren. We thank you for your son, Sir Rattigan. We thank you for your healing virtues, that you're continuing to strengthen his body from day to day. Continue to reach down and touch him. Bless his children and grandchildren, his household. We thank you for his law firm and his business, that whatsoever he lays his hands to will prosper. We thank you for your son, Sir Melton Pot, and his wife. Continue to bless them and keep them and strengthen them. Let no sickness, illness, disease come near their bodies. Continue to touch his wife from the crown of her head to the sole of their feet. Bless their children, grandchildren. We also want to lift up those Mystic Sensation followers and viewers in the chat, those who will be watching after. We thank you for the sacrifice they make night at Tuesdays and Friday nights. We ask, oh God, that you will continue to reign in their life and continue to provide for them, their children, spouses, and family. Bless tonight, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. Thank you, Pastor Ricky, as always, for those wonderful words and prayers, praying for all of us in Jamaica. Without any delay, I'm just going to have Brother Rattigan just meet and greet his wonderful brothers and sisters as usual. Brother Ratti, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Big up yourself, Pastor Ricky. Always a pleasure. Lady Anne Marie, Lord Byron, Melting Pot, all of the wonderful supporters, listeners, viewers. It's been a journey well worth every step of it. Just want to big up Lord Byron to show up on the program Saturday night, because we burned some coal Saturday night. And
Good and welcome, my brother.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for the strength, the people. I really appreciate it. I certainly appreciated it. So I'm looking forward to more collabs like this. So again, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to the discussion tonight, and I'll make whatever contribution I can make. And we have some other things we want to talk about, because we hear some people are run out and a threatened lawsuit against some of the people. So I'll leave it there.
All right. Well said, Ratti. Pastor Ricky, right, take the turn in terms of meet and greet your wonderful brothers and sisters as usual.
Oops, hold on.
And Sir Byron will prosper. And we, mouth make for talk because them have mouth for talk, but we have a constitutional rights on this soil that we on that gives us the right freedom of speech, and we have the right to criticize, scrutinize, and point out what bad governance and corruption is. So them church not frighten we. Them not super cats, so them are done for the people them, but them are not done for Iman, done for Sir Rattigan, them are not done for Lady Anne Marie or Byron or Melting Pot. So, we do what we do best. Talking to the people, engaging the people, speaking truth to power, and holding government accountable, something that is not done in the space of Jamaica. Amen.
Well said, Pastor. I am very happy in terms of where we reach as a people because I am feeling so confident that, you know, this time around, I think Jamaica had grown, right, in strength, and where our democracy, right, at current being challenged by this incumbent government. However, right, we are going to witness, and let me say Jamaica, that we might have the Prime Minister put through the judiciary. The Prime Minister, along with his, you know, come along, I will call them, right, put through the judiciary system. Not too worry about that. The Prime Minister had went into the government primarily, right, to pilfer, right, to primarily to gain illicit enrichment. And we have the evidence. And particularly tonight, we are going to, you know, establish, right, clear evidence of the Prime Minister ultimate corruption, right? We have seen the Prime Minister went to Bolt's funeral, father's funeral. But we are going to speak about that political optics, right? Because that is not going to do well for the Prime Minister, because we know what is what. If you see the thumbnail, see I put predator and prey, and we know what happened where that is concerned. And tonight, again, we are going to establish evidence, right, that cannot be disputed. Cannot be disputed. And the Prime Minister had tried his best in terms of trying to block investigation, try to, you know, do everything to avoid him from being exposed. But, you know, the Prime Minister, based on the evidence that we have, the Prime Minister is fully exposed. And we are going to break some of that. Let me say this, my Jamaican people, the Jamaica Labour Party is crumbling from inside. Crumbling. A lot of people, right, are not aware that the internal fighting and, you know, a lot of disrespect and disregards, right, leads to the internal fighting that is happening to the JLP. And it's a very bad time for the Jamaica Labour Party to be facing a general election and have a split, right, between them. Definitely a kingdom that is divided, right, cannot focus in terms of strength to push forward. And that is exactly what is happening to the Jamaica Labour Party. And I would say it is the will of God, right, to break them from within their realms. And we have seen that being unfolding, and this is no joke, right? It is very serious. Let me show some clips, right, to show what I am hinting on, right, without any delay, honey. I want to play the first clip, GLP team, James, GLP.
Okay.
Let us show the people what we're talking about in terms of, you know, a lot of people are jumping ship in the Jamaica Labour Party. There's no two way about that. A lot of people, look.
They don't need this money now. And the 5,000 when give it for vote, the search them when take it, you know. More than we want, you know. We don't need this money, you know. So see what we are doing, you know. We don't need this money. We don't need him, you know. We don't need this man. So we are sure that we don't need this man. See, Andrew, we don't need this man. We don't need this man, Andrew. See that we are born up in Shreve. We don't need this man. This man give me 5,000 for vote. We don't need this man. We need more land back. We need more land back down this place. This man is no good to this place. Molan is the best man for us. We don't need this man. Send back.
Now, people, what an embarrassment. What an embarrassment we are witnessing, right? We have all heard what the man said. We don't need this man. This man had given $5,000 for vote. And it is going all across Jamaica, right, as it relates to the antics, right? This is very serious. for the Jamaica Labour Party, right? Let me say this to the Jamaica Labour Party administration. The people fully aware, right, that the Jamaica Labour Party administration is a kleptocratic organization. It's an organization that deals with violence, that deals with all wrongdoing. Nepotism, cronyism, skullduggery, and the people of Jamaica, they are fed up. Enough is enough, and as such, people are showing their frustration all over. There's nothing that Andrew Holness can communicate and people believe him. He's not believable. People know that Andrew Holness is a diabolical liar. And one of the reasons why we can prove that, right now, Andrew Holness' home, and when I said home, the home as it relates to Juliet and the Prime Minister, matrimonial home, that is in disrepute, people. Now, when you have a Prime Minister, and let me say this to Jamaica, when you have a Prime Minister who cannot maintain his personal family, provide strength to his personal family, cannot keep the discipline within his personal family, then let us ask the question, Jamaica, how is this Prime Minister is going to exhibit the discipline for the Jamaican people? This Prime Minister had totally broken all matrimonial agreements between him and Juliet. Why would we believe that this Prime Minister would hold any contractual agreement with us? Now, the Prime Minister had broken the matrimonial agreement with Juliet Holness. Not only that, he had broken the matrimonial agreement with Juliet Holness, and this is very serious, people, he had also decided not to sign the code of conduct. This, right, in extension, is speaking of Andrew Holness' character. Who is Andrew Holness is? He's not a disciplinarian. He's someone who is corrupted to the core. And we are going to put, and there are signs all over showing you that this man, right, has no regards for his family. This man has no regards for Bolt's money. Let me say that. This man have no regards for the citizens of Jamaica. The only interest that Andrew Holness has is that self-interest of greed. Greed, 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 and nothing but greed. And so then we are going to witness a Prime Minister being put through the judiciary. I don't think I can lay it out any better than how I just laid it out. But I am telling you that if you have a Prime Minister is supposed to reflect decency. Juliet Holness know that, you know. His wife know that. That as a Prime Minister, he's supposed to be the burden bearer. He's supposed to set the trend of discipline. But yet, he has nothing in terms of exhibiting that. And we all see that. We hear people shouting all across the aisle. Big what? Andrew Holness. And all of them disrespect them. I mean, you have never seen any other Jamaica Prime Minister where young girl shouting across the aisle, saying big this Prime Minister. But you hear it from this Prime Minister, right? And the same behavior that he exhibited at home is the same behavior he's exhibiting in governance. And so then, enough is enough. And let me say this. Big Mama, umbrella group of church, the private sector of Jamaica, let us be honest. You cannot save Andrew Holness. You cannot save Andrew Holness from what about to come. And some of the things that I'm going to reveal tonight. There is no one that gifted, no one that has the talent who can stop social media from exposing the truth. And we say big thanks for social media and from many of us who in this space, right? This is what is happening to Andrew Holness as it relates to gone are those days when he could lie and was not being fact-checked. It is a different era. And so then, this is the era of truth. And Andrew Holness is not doing well with it, my people. Let me just show you that the spin machine, as it relates to JLP spin machine, realize, I am telling you people, realize that it's over. It is over. Let me speak to Cliff Hughes. If you notice, people, tonight, I am going to try not to even shout because, you know, I am happy. I am confident. I am trying to make sure that I measure, you understand, my temperament, right? And have a low key, right? Amplified and low key volume. So I want to make sure that I am not shouting. I am going to definitely be political correct tonight. We are reasoning. Let me say it to you, Big Mama. Big Mama, we know that you are a political operative, right? The days of your journalism, investigative journalism, had gone through the door, long time. From the moment you took on the politics to become a spin machine for Jamaica Labour Party, it's a down spiral for your character. And we have seen it even more evident than now. And Big Mama, you're going to end, right, in a very serious situation. And let me say this, Big Mama, we all know that your hands are tied under the Andrew Holness government because of the billions of dollars you hold in tax. The billions of dollars that you have collected from your employees, many of those funds have not been paid over to the respective tax agencies, right? And that is where your problem lies. You know very well that if the People's National Party win, and let me take out the if. When the People's National Party win, Big Mama, you know that's automatically the end of you. You know, don't. We are reasoning Cliff Hughes. You know that when the People's National Party win, right, you have to simply do what Conway said. Pack your bags and go. Because we know you don't have the $1 billion to pay up, you know. And so then you are in jeopardy with that. Now, let us hear what Cliff Hughes is saying. So let us visit over Mr. Spin Machine, right? And hear what Spin Machine has to say. Let us look, because as I said, the Jamaica Labour Party is crumbling.
The governing Jamaica Labour Party is having more than a spot of bother in settling its slate of 63 candidates. And I learned over the weekend that more and more Labourites are becoming frustrated, annoyed, upset with their leader and his General Secretary, Dr. Horace Chang, for having these, and let me quote, niggling issues continuing for so long. The one that is uppermost in the public sphere is called Samuda's seat, where Delano Seabright, the newly appointed state minister and senator, has declared that he is interested. This is after he was selected deputy chair of the constituency. But according to the Laborites, the leadership of the party don't want Senator Seabright. Their choice is apparently Christian Tavares Finson, the son of the President of the Senate, who is not popular on the ground and does not enjoy the level of support on the ground that Senator Seabright enjoys. And it is causing no ends of problem. And then Central Clarendon, Mike Henry's seat. Mike Henry isn't going back. The mayor of Maypen, Joel Williams, had an interest. He was somehow encouraged to step back, and in doing so allowed the deputy mayor of Kingston and St. Andrew, the former mayor, Delroy Williams, a clear run. Well, I gather Fedder, that's what Delroy Williams is, aka also known as Fedder. Affectionately they call him Fedder. I gather Fedder is having a problem because he does not have the endorsement of Mike Henry and several key people in Central Clarendon, to the point where he's having problem mobilizing the delegates and workers in the constituency. And to make matters worse, I gather the Labour Party has now received and acknowledged receiving 2 letters from 2 individuals expressing an interest in replacing Mike Henry as a party standard bearer in the safe JLP seat of Central Clarendon.
Now take it away, people. People, let me say this before I, bring in the panel to comment on this. People, you have a lot of people, right? The people are saying that they don't want Fedder because Fedder is too corrupted. Remember, it is not People's National Party supporters are saying this, Jamaica Labour Party supporters are saying that they don't want Fedder because Fedder harbor too much corruption. As a matter of fact, we start to see some GLP supporters start to go at PNP meeting. People hear what I say? I am going to show you the evidence. You have GLP supporters going to People's National Party meeting and enjoying themselves and listening to real policies and listening to real changes to come. And I am telling you, when I look at that, I said, whoa, this is what democracy is. Where the opposing side can go into a party and there is a harmony. Dear people, I am going to show you, I have the clip. This strong GLP supporter amongst the comrade, and she was showed loved. She was loved there. And so then let us speak truth. For many of us who are critical thinkers, many of us who are different Jamaican people, right? Have no bones with that. Whether you are GLP or PNP, we are one Jamaican, don't? One Jamaican. Standing up for the principles of good governance. And when I see that, I said, whoa, Jamaica is making progress. And you know what that tells me? Let me expound on that. Jamaica people, I'm going to show you this clip. And the reason for me to show you this clip is to say, in spite of you have GLP members of parliament like Warmington inciting violence and Desmond Mackenzie inciting violence for this general election, people, we can have a peaceful general election. Right? We can agree to disagree. You hear me say, people? We can agree to disagree. We can have a rational conversation. It is not a primitive time that, I mean, if you support JLP and me support PNP, depending on the policies as to why you vote for JLP, or depending on the policy as why me support PNP, I am a Manleyite, and I'm a Manleyite for strong reasons. I am a Manleyite. I am a Manleyite for strong reasons. And I will always say that I will always be a Manleyite as a result of the policies and principles of the politics. That's why I am a Manleyite. And so then when you see the Jamaica Labour Party persons going over to the People's National Party, and there is no violence, it's very rare that if you see, if a PNP should ever, in his or her color, go over to a GLP meeting, arrange and it will be a different thing. Jamaica, it will be a different thing, right? And this is how we need to get to a level, right, where we can agree to disagree. So then you're going to burn out the person because the person, you understand, have a different view from you, have a different perception from you. You can't do that. You can't do that. Every single man and woman has a right to his or her opinion. And so then, while you may agree with something, I may disagree. So because you agree and I disagree, simply means that we need to have violence over that. No, we are to agree to disagree, and that is civilized of the nature of democracy that we need to have. So people, let me show you this. I want you to witness it for yourself. Without any delay, let us play this clip to show the people what I'm talking about.
We are down to a clean kind of speakers. You have heard from comment machine wallet. Our youth representative.
All right. Let me take that. We want to show a glimpse that look good. That really look good. Where we can come together and where we can vote. Put the X beside the N. I have to make sure we say that enough. And have a peaceful general election. Without any delay. These 3 clips that I presented, what say you on the matter?
Yeah, good night again, Sir Byron, Sir Lady Anne-Marie, Sir Ratigan,
Pastor Ricky, you're a little bit low. Can you turn up a mic a little bit?
It's very high. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, go ahead. Let us travel with.
Yeah. 1 second. I just turn it up some more.
Yes.
Now, in the Bible, in Matthew's Gospel, Luke's Gospel, Mark's Gospel, Jesus teach that a kingdom divided by itself shall fall, and a house divided by itself shall not stand. And so, when you have a prime minister who lacks leadership skills and is a divisive figure in politics, and we see that with him coming in 2015, how brutal and vicious he was against former Prime Minister Mama P, Portia Simpson Miller. He was very divisive and vicious because he was hungry for power. Now, what the Prime Minister miscalculate, and this is haunting him even to right now as we're speaking. So he won the 2016 election, or his government, I should say, because he don't vote for prime minister. He's appointed. His government won the 2016 election, February the 25th, 2016. According to the Constitution, the election cycle is every 5 years from the last election. So technically, the elections was not due again till February 2021. But he miscalculate. I don't know if it's the WHO, the UN, Trump was president that time. I don't know if somebody told him to call an early election, or maybe he saw that the country was locked down in COVID, and he thought he saw an opportunity to win an election. So what he did, he called the election September 2020, and the election was not due till February 2021 constitutionally. So he called the election 5 months earlier than it was constitutionally due. So if he had kept to the constitutionally due date of February 2021, then this current election cycle now, the election would not due till February 2026. But because he called the election 5 months in September 2020, before it was constitutionally due, now he's having problems in his party and he's running out of time because he miscalculated and thought that he would have a victory in September 2020. And now, 4 months before the election now is constitutionally due, February 2023, when it should have been, if he had leave it alone, it would have been constitutionally due February 2026. So here's the problem with him as far as him miscalculating. He does not have leadership skill. A leader should be able to fortify, strengthen, build, exhort, and put into place the right people that is a match for the position that you're putting them in. That's part of the leadership. And then only that, the leader should be able to inspire other people and so that they can follow his leadership. But because he's compromised and corrupt, and when we read the IC report, we can speak like that because that's what the IC report reveals. So his party is falling apart. We're looking at the Jamaica Labour Party. They're in their last political days. They're going to lose the election by a massive landslide defeat. The truth of the matter is, it no matter what them did put Feder. Them could have put him on St. James over Chang constituency. Them could have put him in a Manchester over Bobby Montague constituency. It no matter, them could have put him as South Trelawney in a Dalrymple constituency. It no matter where them put him. Even though him get rejected down at Clarendon, the People's National Party is positioned to win the next election. And so it no matter where them did put him, because as a year comrade leader Mark Golin said, him are going to have a forensic audit investigation across all government sectors. When Feder was in, Delroy Williams was in the KSMAC, there was a lot of corruption and criminality. And we have to big up Councillor Jaina, the Labour Right Councillor. She said to Ennis, when she cussed out Ennis, she said, "Them sit down there for 8 years and fill them craw," which is music to a prosecutor's ears. So, and then when we look at the KSMAC at an audit where $88 million is unaccounted for in salaries that they said they paid out to people that did not even work at the KSMAC. Then when we look at the building code violations that he oversaw, a $800 million apartment complex in a lease flat where him not do nothing about it. When you look at estate bridge building apartment complex over Wycliffe, and the construction started while he was the mayor of Kingston and St. Andrew, and him not did not about it. And there's many more corruption that happened under his watch, and him not did not about it, and the prime minister didn't do anything about it either. So the truth of the matter is, time come. And as the Mighty Diamond song where comrade leader Mark Golden said, when the right time come, them are going to face prosecution. And it's true, because you cannot run a government and all of these levels of mismanagement, misappropriations of funds, embezzlement, tax evasions. When you look on Big Mama, them get 10 write-off of tax, them not pay tax 10 different times when it was due, and then them still owe $1.2 billion, and him don't have a TCC for sure, saying pay him taxes, and the prime minister didn't hold them accountable. So when you look on the entire government, it's just a colossal failure on the behalf of this prime minister, who is a leader, and his members, people in his party support. I've never seen so many videos on social media, last point, with so many, them a bun shirt, them a cuss the party, them say them switch, them done with them party, them now vote. His base has shrank from 21% in 2020, and God knows they might get 10% this election cycle. Back over to you. Thank you.
He's saying that the GLP is Gillian is saying that the GLP is on life support at the Cornwall Regional Hospital, and that seems to be true. Brother Rattigan, right? What say you as it relates to the clips that we displayed?
Yes. Good evening again, everyone. I mean, there is a growing frustration and discontent across the length and breadth of Jamaica. And you see it played out daily on social media, and to a much lesser extent, mainstream media. But and that's one of the reasons why you see like people burning T-shirts and people coming out and saying forcefully that they're tired of the $5,000 for the vote, because people are beginning to realize that $5,000 for 5 years or 4 years, that's not enough. That's not enough. You know, somebody come and ask if to give them a job and they make millions and you get 5,000. Makes no sense. And we have heard stories about politicians, people going back to politicians during the course of their reign and asking them for things, and them said, no man, I give you 5,000 already. You forget, I give you 5,000 a year ago. So why you come back to me? So it's vote buying. And people, I think, are nothing. I know people are opening up their eyes and they're seeing what this is causing for them, and the corruption is just rampant. Before, you know, you used to have corruption by night under the cloud of darkness. Now you have corruption in broad daylight, right in front of your eyes. Everywhere you look, it's there. You can't escape it. I am heartened though by the fact that people are beginning to become civil, and I hope this is a trend that if I subscribe to a particular party and you subscribe to another party, it doesn't mean that we can't be friends. It doesn't mean that we can't discuss the issues. In fact, that's all the more reasons why we should discuss the issues.
Exactly.
Because I have some JLP, I have PNP and JLP and UIC and NDM and Up Jamaica. I have friends all over the place. And every time I sit down and I talk to them, it's a learning experience for me and for them, because I get to understand where they're coming from, and then I can challenge their theories. I can challenge their beliefs. Likewise, they do the same thing with me. And out of that engagement, you walk away having a sense of knowledge about that person, and also a sense of respect. Because just because somebody, and I say it on my program all the time, you know, JLP come over there and kill the boy, run on the boy. And I said to them, no. The only time we run them is when they get disrespectful. But if they come and pose a question or something like that, it's fine. We can talk about it. It's not a problem. But then the Prime Minister should be setting the example.
Exactly.
And we don't see that. We see where it's coming from the bottom. And it's too bad that we don't see government coming from the bottom. We see government coming from the top down. And like today, there are some people they're just blind. There is a JLP, and he's watching right now, a friend of mine. And he said to me, well, he say it every day. Why don't you and Mystic and your friend them stop doing what you're doing and wait till after the election and you can start it up again? I say, what kind of nonsense is that? You serious? Serious. And this is after the man admitted that yes, there is corruption, yes, there is kleptocracy, yes, there is human rights violations, but don't want to stop doing that, and after the election, come back. I said to him, that don't make no sense because we would be doing a disservice to ourselves and to our people.
Exactly.
Because we have the information and we need to let our people know so that they can become informed voters. We don't want legacy voters. And let people have an appreciation for the facts and let them vote their conscience. Why are you so afraid of that? And him said, no. Then I spoke to a senior JLP person this evening. And him tell me the same thing. Him say right now, you go on the court program, this course, you just go sit down and drink a lemonade or drink some wine and wait till after the election, man. You're not going too hard on our court. And I said, brethren, what kind of advice that you give me? Say, you cannot be a Jamaican and not give me this advice. You can't give me this advice. Me say, you should have said it, but you know what happened? A lot of them eat and drink at the trough.
There you go.
A lot of them. That is the reason. They know it's wrong, you know. They know what's going on is wrong, but them just can't pull themselves away because of one word: greed. Greed. Them see a chance to make money, and meaning that you have to latch on to this person or latch on to the party or whatever it is, and then do it. This man ever tell me this evening. I don't know if I'm gonna watch. When I tell, and this is a senior JLP man. Him said to me, I don't believe my Prime Minister have 28 bank accounts. Mr. Tim said, brethren, it's very simple. The Integrity Commission said him have 28. And if I were in his position and I don't have 28, I would have come right out and said, no, I don't have 28. If that asks, when you get this 28 from, he said there's city accounts, JMMB, what's the NCB? NCB, Scotia, yes. and on.
These banks.
Yeah, and then when I said to him, what about the Barita loan? He starts, I don't believe them things happen. I said, brethren, you read the report? No, don't read the report. You know why? This man is a very educated person. He does not want to read the report.
Exactly.
Doesn't want to read the report. And so we just want to bless up you and Pastor Ricky and the others who do this kind of thing day in, day out, without any salary or anything like that. You do it from out of the best interest you have for the Jamaican people. And it never stop. It will continue.
Exactly.
And I don't care. I don't, every day we get phone calls. Hey, calm down. We said, no, man. No. We're not calm down. We have to move forward because people must get this info. What good is it if we have the information and we just keep it to ourselves? There you go. What is it? And that's why when people come around programs like this, them come around and believe me, them tell me them come with them pen and them paper because them say, we have learned things for the first time, because them not get, the propaganda, them might get real information, real education. And that's why you have somebody like the spokesperson, I have to touch him up a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, the spokesperson who I threatened to sue off Jeffrey and sue Fireman this morning because I'm saying I'm calling liar and bringing him in a disrepute and say I'm a propagandist. So I tell them, I said, listen, I don't have nothing to worry about, man. I'm not making him do what he have to do. And I tell you what, I wrote to him today, you know. I don't know why I don't want to come from my program and why I don't want to talk to him, because I thought he was a nice fellow. And he and we started out on the right footing back in December. But I wrote to him today and I said, listen, I said, Senator, I'm doing a segment this week on the manifesto, you know. And I just want to know which one of them you edit. Because you say you edit one, and I just don't know which one. So I want to give you credit for the one where you edit. I don't want to give you credit because there's two me I look at. 2016 and 2020. But if you edit both of them, just tell me now, so that me now have no caution, I can just move forward. Otherwise, I have to go figure out which one of them you do, and then next thing you know, you want to sue me. So I said, please, just tell me which one. Man, read the thing, you know. Man, read the thing. man, them no pay me no money. You know, what we do. And then also but it's funny, you know, you're right. You're absolutely right when you say the party is imploding, right?
Yeah.
Because what Senator Arbin Hill, Minister of Investment, whatever it is, right? There is him have a breakfast this Friday in Queens, New York. And one of the most staunchest JLP supporters in the entire tri-state, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, called me and said, listen, why you going to rub him out, you know? Never a thing there, never a seat for you at the table. Me not him say, you know, tell them say, yeah, come in now. Can me tell them say, yeah, come, them go say no. But when you come and why you going to rub him out? Because I thought him no good. And like Pastor Ricky said, a house divided.
All right. Thank you for that, Brother Ratty. We have some powerful and some, you know, strong bites coming from Pastor Ricky. Also from Brother Rattigan. Right. We love the input. Right. Wonderful. Now, thank you for that, Ratty. Right, and Pastor Ricky, right? Love the vibes so far. I want to say to Jamaica that we are going to get into an investigation that, let me say this clear, that there's a new wave of investigation that is taking place. Let me tell you something. Andrew Onus is going to be in more serious conundrum. Let me say that this is no joking, people. There is a new wave of investigation that is taking place. I'm not going to say too much based on the grapevine. Not want to just show my hands like that. So I am saying, but I'm going to go back through some clips. But Jamaica, listen to what I'm saying. There's some land grabbing situation where the Prime Minister and other members of Parliament involved with. Want to hear what I'm saying, people? I want to hear that now. There are some land grabbing situation where the Prime Minister involved and other members of Parliament. Very serious. Very serious. And that is going to be very, very serious. And you know, when I got the information, I said, my God, look on the Prime Minister in terms of what he had done in St. Catherine. And to know that an investigation like this is on its way relating to land grabbing. Very, very serious. So then I said, okay, maybe draw back to some clips. And when I hear the Prime Minister speaking, it appears as if the Prime Minister, you know, is so protective of the land and so forth and so forth. And then in the Prime Minister campaign, the Prime Minister is saying that, you know, he wants to see all Jamaicans owning land and this and that and that and that, and he speaks so highly of, Jamaicans who own land and him no bad mind, him want to see, people will remember that the Prime Minister said that, right? So I said, let me go back through some clips. I'm going to touch a little bit of the investigation of people. I mean, I say, I'm going to open many eyes. So I'm going to play some clips before we go into that investigation, because I am saying it's very serious. Now, so let us listen to what the Prime Minister is saying here. Let us get to this clip. Right? Let us listen keenly to the Prime Minister. Jamaica, we're not making up this. Let us listen keenly to the Prime Minister.
Church. I have the privilege of reading the first lesson, which is taken from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15, verses 7 to 11, from the New International Version. If anyone is poor among your fellow Israelites in any of the towns of the land the Lord your God is giving you, do not be hard-hearted or tight-fisted towards them. Rather, be open-handed and freely lend them whatever they need. Be careful not to harbor this wicked thought. The seventh year, the year of canceling debt, is near, so that you do not show ill will towards the needy among your fellow Israelites, and they may appeal to the Lord against you, and you will be found guilty of sin. Give generously to them, and do so without a grudging heart. Then, because of this, the Lord your God will bless you in all your work and in everything you put your hand to. The chapter says, there will always be poor people in the land. Therefore, I command you to be open-handed towards your fellow Israelites who are poor and needy in your land. This is the word of the Lord.
Take him away. Take him away. Now, Pastor Ricky and Brother Rattigan, let me say this. I don't think no pastor in the world can pray for Andrew Wallace and save him. You know what I say? I don't believe that there is any pastor or any priest in the world that can pray for Andrew Wallace and save him. You know hear what Andrew Wallace just said? The man said, don't show ill will against the needy, but give generous to them. Because if you show ill will, they will turn to God. And of course, God will exercise his vengeance accordingly. It is Andrew Wallace, you know. I pray, you know, I'm going to hear Andrew Wallace. I say, I'm not shouting tonight, you know. Serious, I'm not shouting tonight. Don't show ill will against the needy and give generous to them. Okay, let us go to the next clip. The next clip is going to show you that there's no pastor that can pray for Andrew Wallace and save him. Now let us go to the next clip.
Demolition crews, under the careful watch and protection of members of the security forces, demolished several houses in a section of St. Catherine known as Clifton. The government of Jamaica today carried out a proposed demolition of housing structures in an area of Portmore St. Catherine known as Clifton. The justification for this drastic move is cited as a measure to crack down on criminal gangs accused of squatting or land grabbing on the outskirts of Clifton. It is suspected that much of the criminal activities that occur in St. Catherine stem from this area. Some 30 illegally erected houses were destroyed today.
We have done our own surveillance, and we have discovered that in proximity to Clifton, just above it, has been captured. The National Security Council, in reviewing the development plan, observed an insidious and growing threat in the area where alleged gangsters were capturing lands in the area adjoining the Clifton community, creating their own informal subdivision and selling these lands under the false pretense of ownership or building on them themselves. The SCJ has given warning and served notice to cease and desist. The capturing and illegal construction has continued to the point where some 30 structures have been identified. Let me be clear. The government wants every Jamaican to be able to own their own home and a piece of Jamaica. But it must be done orderly and lawfully. All of Jamaica must acknowledge, every single Jamaican must acknowledge that this is just wrong. No, this is something that the central government of Jamaica must stand up and ensure it does not continue. Absolutely. The government will act to demolish those structures that have been illegally erected.
One resident broke down in tears as she recounts how she purchased her spot from a man for $800,000. She says that he just wrote paid on the receipt, and that's how she became a landowner. Now she can't get the seller on the phone.
Yeah, just introduce me to the man. And me get the receipt, then give them me TRN and me ID, and they turn up the receipt, give me. They send the receipt, give me. Nobody not give me no look one, no look no give me. No, after me doesn't pass and so chat to me, so they might on the plane. Me just have to work for God work. I see that work for God work. I change it and me God work in a man time, come in a happy, come here, see if it belongs, so. So I don't know what to do.
Take it away, honey. Take it away. My people of Jamaica, why you think I show you that clip? I'm going to take some phrases from what the Prime Minister uttered, and knowing to the fact that the Prime Minister is now pursuing, as it relates to that clip, to stop land grabbing. Jamaica, I want you to listen to me clearly tonight. The Prime Minister had demonstrated, as it relates to the central government, which he represents, to limit land grabbing. The Prime Minister said, every Jamaican must own a piece of Jamaica, but it must done legally and orderly. You know what the Prime Minister said? Which for me I go tonight, you know. Very serious, you know. Me want every Jamaican, me want all of the persons who, the different Andrew Anderson, with a different Andrew Holness. Where Andrew Holness hit down the houses in Clifton, you know. This is evidence with the Prime Minister. Come out of him. Evidence, you know. Where the Prime Minister licked down the Clifton homes and said he is not against a Jamaican to own his or her home, but must do it orderly and legally. No, we could put the politics aside, people, and let us imagine what the Prime Minister said. That the Prime Minister is speaking that, okay, if you are going to pursue in terms of owning a land, you must do it orderly and legally. That is my point of contention tonight. That is my point of contention tonight. Now, people, the investigation that I am going to go in details. But before I go through the details, I'm just going to ask the opinion of Ratty and Pastor Ricky, based on what transpired here, as it relates to the Prime Minister, right, dealing with a situation, never tend to exercise due process in the matter. As it relates to said, okay, all right, these persons, they are poor people, right? And why am I going here, Ratty? Here's the reason why I am going here. Ratty, when we look on the Ratty and Pastor Ricky, when we look on the voting block, right, that represent Jamaica electorate, we know the most majority of the voters block made up by poor people. Make a reason now. You understand? Let us get into the demographics and break it down. Not only that majority of the people made up the voters block, but you have a lot of the middle class, a lot of these poor people within the voters block have been paying contribution to NHT for years, Ratty, for years, Pastor Ricky, and have not been getting any benefit of years of contribution. You have government bureaucracy as it relates to certain, screening process to find out whether or not the very same person who have been paying their contribution is suitable of getting a loan. However, you know how Jamaican people stay, right? With their skill and their talent, them can use them on and ton fashion. You understand? People going apart and them do this. You understand? Put their money together, right? And them try to own a property of their home. The Prime Minister never exercised due diligence in terms of those understanding. And said, okay, all right. Since they had done this, let us try go through some process in terms of how we can legalize them, or the government can intervene in terms of aiding the process as opposed to eating down their homes. Why do you think I am going here, people? I am going here because it is the same Andrew Holness has now under investigation as it relates to land grabbing. Oh no, what on people? We are come there. So then when we look and we see Andrew Holness administration, right, go against any effort of the poor people in trying to get a home. Andrew Holness sent tractor, bulldozer, and crush it down, mash it down. And he's telling the people that they are to do it legally, while him Jamaica, him not doing it legally, him Jamaica. So we are going to get there tonight. So, Brother Ratty, do you have anything to say on the mission?
Yeah, I see where Freedom put on the chat that she said that criminals are run to Dubai, and whether or not the Emiratis would take the Prime Minister. Well, look, they can take him, but our links go far. And we have some links this time. We're going to make sure say him don't see that place there's a refuge or a haven. Because
Exactly.
the Emiratis have, they have extradited people. Scammers, crooks, all kinds of people they have extradited. They have some people there and they're waiting on the legal process to wind its way through the courts. But the Prime Minister wouldn't be a safe haven for him. I can tell you that much. It really wouldn't. Because you have people who have links over there. I have some links over there with the police department and some other people. So I would make sure I do everything within my power to make sure so him not. If him go there, him can't stay there. At the very least, him can't stay there. That them are going to push him out. They must say we don't want you here.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, the thing about Clifton. If you go back and look at the thing, he said it's north of Clifton where them have the nefarious activities. But then we see him like he nicked down some houses in a Clifton. I don't quite understand that. If it's north of Clifton, then it can't be Clifton. But then we see him nick down houses in a Clifton. And then one lady said she wasn't given any proper notification and she had to go work and all this stuff. No, people, no matter how you look at it, that's cruel. And here you play the clip with him in a church, you know, or read a good book. And I come out and I practice bad deeds.
Okay.
You know, where is there any forgiveness for somebody like him when him have none for people? None. There's a shrinking middle class despite what them tell you, right? Another thing too is that them come and tell you this nonsense that the unemployment rate, and I have to share to that with that JLP person today. The unemployment rate is the lowest it's ever been in Jamaica. I think it's like 3.6. And I had to send him a clip where Statin said from January 2024 coming forward, you cannot use the stats to compare prior to January 2024 because it's a brand new methodology. It's like apples and oranges. The way they used to count unemployment before January 2024 is not the way they're counting unemployment after January 2024. So you hear all of these nonsense. And why do I bring that up? Because people, some of us were not paying attention to what's being said and what's being done. Forget about what's being said, but what's being done in front of our eyes. We're all witnesses to what's going on. And somehow, sometimes we just say, boy, it's not happening. I see it happening, but it's not happening. And, you know, there is work to be done. And that's why we continue to do what we're doing, because there's work to be done, because some of us, we cannot take the scales off of our eyes. And so somebody have to take it off here. Because if you leave it up to these politicians, they'll, you know something? One last thing before I know Pastor Ricky for coming. You did something the other night. I'm going to do it this Saturday. But you did something the other night when you mentioned about the tax, the finance papers.
Yes.
All right. I went back and I'm going through all of the not convention, but them conference speeches. I'm going through all the conference speeches. I'm going through all the manifestos. I'm going through all the post-cap briefings. I'm going through all the reports. I'm going through all of the press conferences. And I came across a clip where the Prime Minister said that there have been no new taxes under this PNP administration. And people reel and jump up and say, whoa, yeah. And I thought about it, and I went back and I looked at the document that you put up. And I said, you know, I'm right. I'm right. But people don't understand that I'm right for the wrong reason. They don't understand that. Listen to me carefully, people. I'm right for the wrong reason. Here's why. When they say no new taxes, what it means is that right now they don't tax you if you have a bicycle. If they come out and say we're going to tax you if you have a bicycle, that's a new tax. What he didn't say is that I'm not going to increase taxes. That's what he never said. Because the document you show a mistake, he increased taxes. So
Exactly.
increase what they were already taxing, but he never tax anything that they weren't taxing, if you can understand what I mean.
Exactly.
And people hear that no new taxes, and them say, whoa, 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 and them not realize that, you know, when you smoke a cigarette, you pay tax because of the GCP. When they buy gas, when the list is there, people, and thankfully for Mystic brought it to my attention, brought it to everybody's attention. And I don't know how many people paid attention to it, but I certainly did. And I went and said, I have to go find something where the Prime Minister said no new taxes. And I found it. And he's right. No new taxes. He's not taxing anything that wasn't taxed before. But
Yes.
things that were taxed before, he increased them. I rest my case.
All right. Well said. Come in, Pastor Ricky. All right. Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead.
The Prime Minister is not a Christian. This is why I repeatedly say that any pastor, church leader, ministers who support this Prime Minister and his government have denied the faith and have betrayed the gospel of Jesus Christ and should be ashamed of themselves and should go and repent. When you read the scripture that from Deuteronomy 15, that God spoke to Moses to tell the children of Israel before they cross over into the promised land that on the 7th year, everything should be free. And whoever owed debt it's canceled. You know, that's the part one of the Mosaic law. Now, moving forward, the Prime Minister took the law into his hands. If Jamaica is a true democracy and there's freedom, the Charter of Freedom, Fundamental and Rights and Privacy in Chapter 3 of the Constitution, what the Prime Minister should have done, if he said Jamaican citizens illegally occupy the land, he should have gone to the court, get an injunction or a court order and a warrant and serve them and give them periodically, say 30 days to vacate if he could have proven his case. That's how it would have been done in a first world country like America, England, or Canada. So the fact that he lied on the floor of the parliament when he says they're the same one that said this is an honorable house, but yet he called these people criminals that's occupying the land, that criminals gave them the land. Now he called the people that sell them the land criminals, and he called the people, the Jamaican citizens, taxpayers, squatters. It shows you that he has no investigational skills, because he should have gone to NHT with the names of the people that occupy the space, the land, with their TRN number to see if they have paid into NHT. You hear one of the ladies say she's on her way to work, meaning that she, possibly have a job and possible paying her NHT withdrawal from her paycheck. So what he should have did was find an amicable solution to ensure that Jamaican citizens are not left homeless without a dwelling over their head. So he is, remember now, Sir Rattigan and Sir Byron, Lady Anne-Marie, and everyone in the chat, this man have an indigent housing program separately from Desmond McKenzie in the indigent housing program for the poor. These people, my understanding is that they bought the space or the land from a lady in the Ministry of Education. They were not squatters. They paid for it. The lady said she had a receipt showing that she paid $800,000 at the time that she moved on that space. So these people work and bought the piece of property, but the Prime Minister had other plans he wanted the land. This is why the Integrity Commission give them till May 31st this month for, as it relates to land acquisition, to show proof and evidence of how they purchased the land. this is the same prime minister where him son claim him son just buy 24 acres of land over Kavanaugh's estate in St. Catherine. And we know of other members of parliament in former members of parliament in St. Thomas who claim them buy how much thousands acres of land for $1. So this is a practice that has been going on, land grabbing and snatching and taking people's land and lying to get the people's land. And so we're looking forward for, are they going to turn over what the IC requested that is due by May 31st to the Integrity Commission? So the Prime Minister, Sir Rattigan is on the program. I'm trying to behave myself.
Oh, you know, right, you know what you're calling, right? You know what you're calling, man. Go ahead.
Big respect, Sir Rattigan. But listen, man, the Prime Minister is the chief criminal in Jamaica. He knows these are poor people. And if he had an indigent program when built 271 houses, him should have ensured that the people that him gonna relocate from that space get one of the indigent housing program. But him never did that because him have other plans for the land. And we are gonna see the truth when the Integrity Commission get to the bottom of these 12 agencies, but 9 of them is in the Prime Minister's office on that request that the Integrity Commission released about a month ago. Back over to you, Sir Byron.
One quick thing that you know, it's funny because and we shouldn't forget it, that he said they're criminals selling the land and occupying the land. He never came out and admitted that the lady who they arrested for selling the thing was a principal in his constituency, one of his most ardent supporters. And if you notice, you hear nothing more about that case there.
All right.
Nothing. So,
and since you speak about it, Ratty, let us show the people the evidence as it relates to that principal. So we want to show that principal now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. One more point. In Jamaica, the law says if you dwell on a land for 12 years and you can show proof that you pay the property tax, after 12 years, you're the owner of the land, even if you got squat on it from 12 years ago. Once that 12-year period is up, you own the land.
It's true, but the information is true. Let us show that the Prime Minister even blamed Klansman to be doing this. And the person who guilty of this is the Prime Minister's friend. Let us show people the Prime Minister's friend, the principal. All right, here it is, people. We are a school principal charged with poker breach relating to illegal Clifton sales. This is the Prime Minister's friend, Don't joke about it, Nationwide news understand that one person has been charged in relation to the illegal sale of land in the vicinity of Clifton and Portmore St. Catherine. Sulin Ward Brown, a school principal, has been charged with breaches of the Proceed of Crime Act, POCA, the Law Reform Fraudulent Transaction Special Provision Act, and Common Law Conspiracy to Defraud. Take that away, honey. Just want to show the people how the Prime Minister came out and lied. And as it relates to what Pastor Ricky said, that the Prime Minister did not do any investigation. Because if the Prime Minister had done any investigation, the Prime Minister would have known that, okay, it is the Prime Minister's own friend who is guilty of that and being arrested. And now since that came out, right, as what Rattigan said, we have heard nothing about that case. And so you can see the level of criminality as it relates to Andrew Holness' extended arm. You understand? Corrupting the criminal justice system. Just like we are seeing nothing being done as it relates to Royal Reed case. You're not hearing anything. This is the criminality, right, of the government. Now, let us get into serious things in terms of the reason as to why, right, I showed, right, the land. And we are going to get into a little bit of investigation. And we talk about land grabbing. I showed that to say that here is Andrew Holness, being the Prime Minister, right? And as according to him, was correcting the behavior as it relates to what transpired in St. Catherine, right? And said that he was now controlling land grabbing. And at the same time, the Prime Minister, right, been doing that. The Prime Minister himself is guilty. Let me show you a similar pattern with the Prime Minister to show you that, okay, all right, this is not just a one-off incident with Andrew Holness. This is Andrew Holness in his DNA. Okay, let us go back and remind people what happened, right, as it relates to the similar behavior. When Andrew Holness accused Azan, if you remember the incident with Azan, when Andrew Holness accused Azan, right, as it relates to breaching procurement process, Andrew Holness was under investigation for the very same thing. People not hear me? Andrew Holness was under investigation. And that did not stop Andrew Holness being under investigation to be accusing Azan and saying with him hypocritical self that he's not going to work in the parliament with Azan. So what sort of person is this? Don't remember, I know him can't say I lie this, you know. Remember that Andrew Holness, the timeline of the investigation being investigated by the Integrity Commission investigators, the timeline is between period 2007 to 2009, you know. People want to remember that, you know. And remember, say it is after that he accused Azan. Right? He accused Azan in 2015. So just look, the Prime Minister knew very well that he is under investigation for even more serious things than what Azan did. It is not like Azan took any government money or take any money from out of the treasury. Azan do nothing like that. Azan took the money out of his personal pocket and facilitate some poor people. This goes to show you in Jamaica that this man no love no poor people, you know, and yet he's from the bosom of the poor. So I am just highlighting Andrew Holness' hypocriticalness. Now look in this investigation that I am going to present. People, me need no work hard people, you know. Let them come and look at me when we go and present. Now, people, let me show you the level of hypocrisy. Just remember, you know, we show Clifton and what they had done with the poor people houses. Let them down. But when we start with Andrew Holness' wife and then we get into Andrew Holness, people, look here. Let me show you the truth. Impossible to fix. Let me show you what they go on here. Let me show you Jamaican people. That's what I'm saying. There's no prayer can save them. You know. Ultimate wicked and ultimately evil. Your people, impossible to fix. Juliet Holness tells court her 800 million housing project doomed to fail if issues with access road not addressed. And we just have got brief in it. Developer Juliet Holness has told Echo she's facing a failed 800 million housing project in St. Andrew if issues with an access road are not addressed in a high stakes title dispute. Take it away on it. Why Mystic Sensation show that? Let me bring up this. Why the stick sensation showing that? Now, you see, Andrew Wallace went to board funeral, you know. I'm father funeral, you know. I said, you know what? I am going to bring back Jamaica to reality. Because the political optics is to say, okay, everything is okay with both and the Prime Minister. And, you know, the Prime Minister would not take both money. I am coming plain as day, you know, plain as day. And knowing to the fact that he went to Bolt's father's funeral, whether he's invited or is not invited, I am not interested into that. I am interested in the vein of the wickedness and the cruelty and the barefacedness and the political optics that they want to spin. So let me just remind people something. Remind people the history. Now remember that the Prime Minister in 2011 purchased the land at Beverly Hills. How many transactions the Prime Minister used to purchase that land? 4 transactions. 4 transactions. Simply means that the Prime Minister run out of cash. The Prime Minister run out of cash. The Prime Minister claimed, Patrick Bailey claimed, people, the document is there now. Patrick Bailey claimed that the bulk of the money came from SSL, right, to purchase the land. Now, remember in 2011, Bolt did not join SSL as yet. So I am telling you, as way back as in 2008, where SSL becomes a feeding tree for the Prime Minister. SSL became a feeding tree for the Prime Minister of Jamaica. The Prime Minister joined SSL 2008. You always hear Mystic Sensation talking about Audrey Sewell. Audrey Sewell, the permanent secretary. The Prime Minister appointed her permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education. And so then Audrey Sewell would have overlooked all those procurement breaches. And that's why I'm saying that Audrey Sewell must be investigated. But this is not about Audrey Sewell tonight. Let us push on to show that Prime Minister Andrew Holness went to both funerals. It means went to both father's funeral. It means nothing. The Prime Minister is just bare face. The Prime Minister is just dry eye. My grandmother would have said, it come like puss broke coconut in a fear. Yeah. The Prime Minister is just bare face. Right? The Prime Minister is the natural predator and Bolt is the prey. So let me just back Jamaica and show Jamaica something. So when the Prime Minister had done that, right? The Prime Minister, money run out in 2011 because the money that him make as it relates to influencing contract with Gavin, right? Remember that him buy some properties in, bring that in through ADMAT. Use ADMAT, the money that he got from Gavin. I presume that those money push into ADMAT, and of course ADMAT in St. Lucia buy those properties, those first initial properties. So make it smoothie now, make it traveling on the journey now. So in 2011, of course, the Prime Minister utilized most of the money. You understand what? You as it relates to the influence there. You understand, and have to pay for the land there. Right? In 4 transactions. And me say it, you know, people. Patrick Bailey said this, you know. Patrick Bailey said this. Now, most of the money came from where? SSL in 2011. Bolt. Not get into SSL yet. Okay. Make we flip the page. And make we call that page 11. That take on through the book. Make we call that page 11. And we go over page 12 that represent. So page 11 represent 2011. Make we go page 12,
what represent 2012? What happened in 2012? Bolt giant SSL. Bolt giant SSL. And the first big chunk of money that Bolt put into SSL. Yes, man. Marcus Kerry and Eucras Kerry jump up. We have the evidence, you know. We have the evidence, you know. That's why we have to go back to the whistleblower tonight. Yes, people. We are going back there. We are going back there. People can't say me to go back there, you know. Me never tell him to go back to Bolt funeral, you know. And from once he go back to Bolt funeral, from once he went to Bolt funeral, me I go back to the whistleblower. And remind people, I him make me I go back to the whistleblower tonight, you know. Now watch this now, people. Let me show you something. Marcus Kerry and Eucras Kerry jump and both bring in the trunk at $6.7 million in. Jump up, you know. No, remember put in Darrell Vaz in this, you know. Darrell Vaz, I think we don't know, say, you take up money out of SSL and give it to Andrew Honest. Hey, Darrell Vaz, I see you. Darrell Vaz, you think we don't know, say, you responsible for many of the JLP accounts in SSL? Eh? We know to say it's silent in and answer nothing. We know to say, you. We have the evidence like Darrell Vaz, so you know, but I can't go on like you want to run out, you know. We have the evidence, you know. We just have to wait for you, you know. You, yes, man. You were the mediator in between SSL and Andrew Wallace, giving Andrew Wallace the money from out of SSL. Now, let me say something to you now. In 2012, when Board put in the money, right? Because you see me play Juliet Owners, impossible to fix. You know, watch this now, people. Look where I go. In 2012, remember in 2011, Andrew Wallace have no money. You know? No transaction him used to pay 3 hours. And in 2012, when Board put in the money, what happened, people? All of a sudden, Andrew Wallace have money. Andrew Wallace has stopped spending money straight through the 4 years between 2012 to 2016 and finishing big mansion. Is that lie? Andrew, is that lie? 2012, Board put in money. Your construction swings straight through from 2012 to 2016. Is that lie? That is not lie. Construction runs straight through from 2012 to 2016. Where you get that money from? Where did you get that money from? Now, in 2012, people, you know what also happened? While Andrew Owners building that big house, you know what? Juliet Owners started the apartment complex in Lee's flat. Where Juliet Owners get that money from? Where Juliet Owners got that money from? Juliet Owners started the apartment complex at Lee's flat. Go back and look at the document, people, in 2012. So in 2012, in 2011, right, both Andrew Owners and Juliet Owners struck the cash, but in 2012, when Board put in money, you understand, Andrew Owners was able to start his Beverly Hills house, straight through 4 years period, finish it in 2016, and also Juliet Owners have money, you understand, to start Lee's flat. To start Lee's flat operation. Now, since you show that, let us get into the juggling. Let us bring up this document. So I am showing people, you know, where we are going, you know, and how Andrew Wallace in another big conundrum, you know, people. Now look at this. Look at this.
Very good partnership with Henan Fifth, a Chinese construction company that brought their technical expertise into the development of the site, which ensured that the price points were within reach of the average Jamaican. So this is a lovely site, would normally be considered prime real estate, but the objective of the government is to ensure that Jamaicans have the opportunity to enjoy their Jamaica, their piece of the rock.
years, the demand is incredible. I'm certain that if we had here 8,000 houses, 10,000 houses, all of them would have been sold. In fact, I'm told that the HAJ advertised just over 200 houses and had more than 6 times the number of applicants.
Now, why did Mystic Sensation play the clip? Let me explain. It's what we call quid pro quo. Quid pro quo. Andrew Holness, HAJ is a government entity. And as a result of that, I mean, I think that HAJ was created by PJ Patterson, right? During PJ Patterson government. So it's a government agency. So there is no share, so to speak, and all of that. You understand? Let us put that aside. That is not where I'm going. But where I'm going with this investigation is also where the Integrity Commission investigators are going. People, HAJ, the board, the chairman, right, who sit on the HAJ, let me show you people who sits on the HAJ, the board of HAJ. Let us show you who sits on the board of HAJ. And when we talk about quid pro quo, and we talk about the level of corruption with Andrew Holness, trust me, it cannot be measured. Now, let us go to HAJ annual report, where I'm going. Annual report, I want to show people who sits on the board of HAJ. Yes, Tony. Love how you're working with me tonight. Annual report 2019-20. People, let me just go down. I want to show you the person who sits on the board of HAJ. Right? Let me just find that for you. Now here it is, people. And the people can see it on it. And let me just miggle it for you. Because I want the people to see it, you know. See the criminal activity, you know, the quid pro quo. And you Holness level. And I want to know if PSOJ is not calling out this. If Umbrella Group of Church is not calling out this. Let me show it. See the man having the mouse upon him now. See me I spin the mouse around him, yeah? So I'm going to show you the level of corruption, people. Standing from left to right, Gary Howell, Wayne Strachan, Robert Lawrence, Sylvester Tolo, Stephen Fongy, Ian Johnson, and John Valentine. Seated from left to right, Doreen Prendergast, Pierre Hutchinson, and who this people? Norman Brown. And Norman Brown, this is up. So when we hear all I like at George Davis and my name, the one who got about soon last week, Marlon Morgan, who they say Morgan do Morgan things. Yes, him right. Morgan does Morgan things. And you must be talking relative to the 17th century. We all know what Henry Morgan did. Pirate of the high seas. So Morgan does Morgan things. You let me remind you of your history, Morgan. Since you love big up your Morgan and highlight that Morgan does Morgan things. So you have to also reference the 17th century history. Henry Morgan. So all right, put that away. I just want to show something. As Morgan does Morgan things, you know. Think me no they have here. I wonder if you want to consume Mystic Sensation too, because you have Faratigan, you know. You have any lawsuit for Mystic Sensation, Morgan? I mean, what you are listening? You want to run out? Run out. You understand? Let's talk about lawsuit, you're going to run and back down. Eh? But more you do, more you talk, more you hold out for your voice. No. Why the Integrity Commission is investigating this? And because Morgan does Morgan things as it relates to what Henry Morgan had done, then of course, we are going to show you that is the same Henry Morganism that Andrew Holness is carrying on. So Andrew Holness now, right? That man from out of HAJ, and let me show you the document why the Integrity Commission investigators are investigating this. HAJ chairman to take charge of UDC board. We're going to look at this now, people. See that? So Andrew Holness have a corruption, people. Want to see how Andrew Holness have a corruption, want to watch it now. HAJ chairman to take charge of UDC board. This is big conflict of interest, you know. Why is conflict of interest? Brother Rattigan, you know, so me are good tonight, you know. Brother Rattigan, you remember Imperium, right? Me now hear Brother Rattigan.
Yeah.
So you see the reason why we are going to
Don't see why you are going there.
Okay. So then, Andrew Holness take this man from off of the HAJ board. And now, put this man, HAJ chairman, to take charge of UDC board. While this man have shares in an Andrew Holness Imperium company. People who don't understand the corruption, it can't get worse on this. Who don't watch this, people. Norman Brown, the chairman of the Housing Agency of Jamaica, this man and the Prime Minister, right? This man is a director of the Prime Minister company, and not only one company, you know. You know, more than one company of the Prime Minister, you know. And the Prime Minister put this man now to in charge of the Housing Agency of Jamaica. Been appointed the chairman of the Urban Development Corporation, the state agency that controls billions of dollars worth of government land and real estate. You see where the land grabbing coming in? People, but Andrew Holness done. You see what Andrew Holness do? As it relates to the corruption, remove this man from out of HAJ. Which part this man is a director in Andrew Holness company and holds shares in Andrew Holness company. Make we go to the Integrity Commission investigation. And yet, Henry Morgan grandson, Henry Morgan great-great-grandson is saying that the Integrity Commission, you understand, have malice aforethought and politically biased to investigate Andrew Holness. You see how Henry Morgan grandson, great-great-grandson, is so out order. You see how Henry Morgan, who used to rob on the ICs, or his grandson, his great-great-grandson, is so out order. You see how Henry Morgan, great-great-grandson out order. Now watch out. Integrity Commission raises conflict of interest, concern over owners and business partner who chairs UDC and HAJ. What do you mean? This is a big conflict of interest, people. In this 2019 photo, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is seen along with Housing Agency of Jamaica Chairman Norman Brown at a signing ceremony for the St. Catherine Estate Housing Development in St. Catherine. See there now? See there? Want to see the corruption there? Now, Brown, who chairs both the Housing Agency of Jamaica and the Urban Development Corporation agencies under Holness ministerial portfolio,
holds shares in Estate Bridge Development Company alongside owner's family. You know, hear the corruption people. But they point out the corruption too, you know, more want to see, and understand why the Integrity Commission investigate this, and why Henry Morgan grandson begs. They know why Henry Morgan grandson begs, because Henry Morgan grandson have the solid DNA like his grandfather, his great grandfather. The two entities manage billions of dollars in the state asset. You know, hear that, people? The similarity in the functions of HAJ and UDC and the relationship between Honest and Brown pose significant conflict of interest concerns, said Kevin Stevenson, Director of Investigation and Integrity Commission. No, we hear Henry Morgan grandson, Delicote, and Kevin Stevenson, say Kevin Stevenson political bias, and Kevin Stevenson have an axe to grind. Can you imagine? When you see this clear conflict of interest and clear corruption, if this potential conflict of interest is not managed appropriately, it may be deleterious to the public interest. However, the director said, notwithstanding the foregoing, no direct evidence was presented to suggest that there has been any impropriety occasioned by the referenced potential conflict of interest. The remarks are part of the Commission's 171-page report and an investigation into honest income and asset and declaration from 2019 to 2022. It noted that the Commission was unable to determine whether owners should face prosecution or illicit enrichment because the Prime Minister refused to provide details on his personal expense. Additionally, there are unresolved questions surrounding over 473 million worth of transactions involving companies connected to owners, Estate Bridge Development Company. And with Norman Brown involved in that, a key part of investigation lists Brown as a director and shareholder alongside owner's sister and one of his sons, the Commission said. The Commission highlighted that both HAG and UDC are involved in real estate, making Brown dual roles in government and Estate Bridge problematic people, especially since both agencies fall under the Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation and People. Remember, some mystic sensation telling us that Audrey Sewell was also in the ministry, was also permanent secretary in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and the whole of them place amidst billions of dollars. Brown has chaired HAG since 2016, you know, and was appointed UDC chairman in 2024. Take it away. Let us go to the panel. We don't have no time to wait. Now, Ratty, as it relates to the Prime Minister and the obvious corruption, conflict of interest in that regard, right? Knowing to the fact that Norman Brown, who once sat on the HAJ board, had now moved by the Prime Minister. Knowing to the fact that the Prime Minister and Norman Brown, right, business partner in few of the Prime Minister's companies, and where Norman Brown is a director and having shares, active shares in Andrew Warner's company. And now he's put into a position in charge of billions of dollars as it relates to land. What say you, brother Rattigan?
First of all, yes, indeed. Yeah, you deserve a round of applause for that because it connects up all of the dots. People who never heard about Norman Brown, hearing about him for the first time, see the pivotal role that he played and is still playing in the Prime Minister's business life. Now, let me go back and talk about something. You remember the clip you showed? You showed a clip with the Prime Minister standing in a housing development, and he said something about some Chinese development. But the development doesn't have a Chinese name. It named Li Fang Estates. It named Edmund Ridge Estates in St. James. Could it be the name of that politician who's from St. James? Could it be? He's a politician, a well-known politician, a minister, in fact, whose first name is Edmund, who's from St. James. I'm just wondering if if it's just a coincidence. I'm just wondering. There's a politician, people, in that part of the country whose name is Ed Bartlett. And I've been hearing things about a development. I don't know if it's this development, but it just struck me as being rather odd that we have Edmund Ridge Estates built by a Chinese company. And Edmund Bartlett is from that part of the country. I've been hearing about an estate, and I don't know if it's this, but it just struck me as being strange. Remember, turn to Norman Brown now. Norman Brown is a hell of a fellow, because Norman Brown, in addition to what you just said, and you proved it, that Norman Brown he sits on the HAJ and UDC, and Norman Brown is also a partner in Estate Bridge, or a shareholder in Estate Bridge. And just as a reminder, people, Estate Bridge started out from Imperium. It was ADMAT, then Imperium, then Estate Bridge. Estate Bridge started out with 10,000 shares. And here's how they split the shares. Norman Brown had 2,000. The Prime Minister's sister had 2,000. That's 4,000. We got a 6,000 there. The Prime Minister had 5,001, and 999 shares were unassigned. Them just sit down, some of them not assigned to anybody. So the Prime Minister was the majority shareholder. At a certain point in time, the Prime Minister, Norman Brown, gave 1,000 of his 1,000 shares to the Prime Minister's son. That's when he came on the board. And then the Prime Minister gave 1,000 of his 5,001 shares to his son as well. So on the board, they started out with Seaga, and this is nothing her name is, Norman Brown, and the Prime Minister, shareholders. And then at some point in time, the Prime Minister's son came on, and he ended up with 2,000 shares. His auntie ended up with 2,000 shares. Norman Brown had 1,000 shares. And in 2000, I think it's 2022, the Prime Minister, October 2022, the Prime Minister gave up the rest of his shares. Now, you talk about the Integrity Commission and Norman Brown. The Integrity Commission, essentially, for all intents and purposes, called Norman Brown a big fat liar. And here's how they did it. They said when they interviewed him about the Wycliffe Close property, when they were investigating the Prime Minister's statutory declarations, this property, Wycliffe Close, came up, and they asked him, "When you want to build out there?" I'm saying, "Yeah, we'll build some 4-bedroom apartments out there." Fast forward, when they started looking now at the apartment, the Wycliffe Close investigation, which is a different investigation from the statutory declarations. This is the one where them submit permits to build 2-bedroom apartments, but Integrity Commission go out of place and inspect it and find them a build 4-bedroom apartments. Everybody give up Norman Brown. Everybody said Norman Brown as the director, him do the day-to-day things and all that. And when they interview Norman Brown lied. Because them said to him, "Oh, we're building 2-bedroom apartments." And them said, "But Mr. Brown, how come when we interview you the other day, you told us," and them quoted to him, "You said we're building 4-bedroom apartments out here. And now you come and you're building 2-bedroom apartments." People, we must not also forget that when an issue came up with money coming to, I think it's Estate Bridge or the Prime Minister, where did that money come from? When you remember where the money come from? Norman Brown. I run around and I deposit in an ATM machine. You remember that? I hope you remember that, you know. I hope you remember that. So Norman Brown, I don't want a simple man. Norman Brown are going with a whole bunch of things and should be investigated. But there is more to come because, like I said, the land grabbing thing and all that, there is much, much more to come. And I believe that if the Integrity Commission had more people, more backbone, more support, not only would the Prime Minister have been charged and me know Senator Editor Morgan I watch your program in him. When watch your program in him, when you know him watch your program. And I send a special message to him now. Senator Editor Morgan, just remember this. A crime is committed not when the investigation starts. The investigation starts because a crime has been committed. So I want you to know, and I know the Prime Minister watched you, and millions of them watch. I want to know, if he's not watching, I want to not tell him, say, thanks to Editor Senator Morgan, because Senator Editor Morgan, he was the one last week, Saturday, who said, nobody's making the argument that the Prime Minister wasn't a shareholder at the time of the construction. Sewara? You just admit now, so the man commit a crime. You just admit it. The man said, nobody's making the argument that the Prime Minister was a shareholder at the time of when the construction started. But him going and said, but the pivotal moment is when the investigation started in 2024 that the Prime Minister has divulged his share. That is true. But that is not the pivotal moment. You know, the pivotal moment is when them start the construction and the Prime Minister maintained his shareholders' interest in Estate Bridge for 1 year and 3 months after the construction starts. 1 year and 3 months after the construction. So look, it's a whole bunch of shenanigans. It's a whole bunch of intolerable behavior, bordering on all kinds of crimes. It just pile up on top of each other. And the more them try explain it, and the more culpable they become. Because when you lie, most liars are going to tell another lie. Them not come and tell you the truth. Them are going to lie because, especially them think say you're idiot. Especially them think you're idiot. But those days when them could have tell us these things and we just sit down and absorb them and accept them as truth, those days are over.
Long over.
People like Mystic or people like Pastor Ricky sit down around us. So where the people they know I dig and them I dig and them I dig. We don't accept. We listen, but we don't accept.
Yes.
We listen, but we don't accept. See there? So people, that is just my contribution to the Norman Brown saga and this Edmund Rich thing here. We need to look to see if that minister is a part of this construction.
There you go.
Development. We need to look at it, sir. Thank you.
Corruption swelling, wonderful input coming from Brother Rattigan here. Love it. Pastor Ricky, the button is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, Sir Rattigan, thanks to you and Shaka Fame and Sir Jeffrey and Obi, I would say on an unarmed a sheriff who claimed to be a sheriff. Anyhow, listen. Everybody know that the Prime Minister and his wife are into real estate development. What the Prime Minister was advertising was property that belonged to him and his wife. And he was saying that we developed these property. He used the pronoun we, and we know when the word we means more than one individual. So if you go back to the clip you just played, Sir Byron, listen to what he was advertising as a realtor and a real estate developer. He was advertising homes. This is not what the Jamaican people elected him to do, you know. This is his side hustle. where should be divesting any business adventurers and focus on growing the economy, make the people of Jamaica sleep with their doors and window open, bring the big power companies to help reduce the cost of electricity, and keep the people safe. But that's not what he's doing. Now, as you look at Norman Brown, he was called out by the Integrity Commission, as Sir Rattigan said, because according to the IC report, this guy went to the ATM and deposited $4 million 20 different times. Dirty money. Normally you'd a wire transfer that large sum of money, but because it's dirty money, to hide the paper trail, Norman Brown went to the ATM machines in Jamaica and deposit the money 20 different times. When the Integrity Commission asked the Prime Minister about this, him lied and said it was a loan that Norman Brown had that he was paying back to the Prime Minister. But listen, Norman Brown is also a shareholder in the Prime Minister Imperium Shell Company and Estate Bridge Construction Company. So when we look at Norman Brown now trying to cover his trail, because criminals always look for a way out, he took the IC to court. He put it in the judiciary, and because now they realize he's gonna have to tell the truth on the oath. Sir Rattigan, you're a lawyer. You know when you cross-examining a witness on the oath in the court of law, and they swear to tell the truth, but nothing but the truth. So help me God. And if they fail to tell the truth, then that's perjury, and they're now can be, sentenced or hold in contempt. So what Norman Brown realized, the mess and the debacle that he's in, he withdrew the claim from taking the IC to court, because he realized now he's gonna have to explain his the $4 million deposit 20 times into the ATM machine. He's also going to have to explain the Estate Bridge debacle, where he also had 1,000 shares in Estate. When construction began, the Prime Minister was the majority shareholder in Estate Bridge. So the Prime Minister and his wife is running around Jamaica making all these real estate development, building all these properties, and he's selling them not to the Jamaican citizens because they can't afford it. When the Prime Minister came to Florida, Sir Rattigan, Sir Byron, Lady Anne-Marie, everyone in the chat, I watched the video, and he advertised that the people should come to Jamaica and invest in real estate. Of all the different opportunities in Jamaica, he single-handed out real estate. When the Prime Minister went to New York last year in 2024, when him look behind him every minute and I paced the floor, because it was right in September when the IC report was tabled. So I believe the feds will come grab him and put him in a handcuff. He invite the people in the diaspora in New York to come to Jamaica and invest in real estate. The videos are there. Nobody's lying on the Prime Minister. We have all the videos. Every word the Prime Minister say, we have them all documented. So guess what? This Prime Minister is doing a lot of shenanigans. He's shady. He's a person of questionable character. And to be building properties and selling them for $30 million, $40 million to the people in the diaspora to come and buy these property, which is not what he was hired to do. Finally, the Prime Minister needs to come to the Jamaican people and to level with the people, because guess what? Me can't wait for the IC annual report coming out next month, June 30th, because him have until 31st of this month to declare those land acquisition that the Integrity Commission wrote to him, and 9 of those companies, 9 of them is located in the Prime Minister's office. So when, I've been saying this a while, and people think I'm joking. The Prime Minister will be the first Prime Minister in the history of Jamaica to go to prison. The party treasury, the permanent secretary, the cabinet secretary, a whole slew of MP, and then this Idi Amin guy got implicate himself in the midst of corruption. The whole of them are got prison, including the Prime Minister. And when you aid and abet criminality, you are implicating yourself. And it's time that people in the Prime Minister party start distance themselves. Because when in the hammer drop on him for criminality and corruption and all of this thing where I do, him look at side hustles them and dirty money and money laundering. All who are protect him and support him and hug him up, the whole on Africa face the music on the oath. One last point. It's one thing when you can run out to the microphones and spew out foolishness, but it's another thing when you're on the oath and you took an oath to swear to tell the truth in the court of law. It's a different arena, different ball ground. Sir Atigan, who's a liar, can tell you that. So when him run out and I say, we are spread by social media, disinformation, misinformation, he's lying. What we're doing on social media is holding him accountable, investigating, showing the evidence in videos, documents, video clips of their own words, like the video he just showed. He must sell property when him should have take care of the Jamaican people business. He must sell property when him should have fixed Cornwall Regional Hospital so the people them get up off of the chair or die on chair. He must fix property when them owe the teachers them money and can't pay them. Police not have them back pay. Doctors are protest, nurses are protest, but he must sell property. People, a time for them go, man. Back over to you, Sir Byron.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful input there, Pastor Ricky. Now, we are seeing, because we have to address the situation as it relates to the Prime Minister. What gone to Bo's father's funeral, but we are not going to get back in terms of playing the funeral and true and blah, 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 blah. We just want to explain certain things as it relates to the Prime Minister optics, political optics of the situation. Sending a narrative to say that, okay, everything is okay, right? No, it is not. Number one, Prime Minister, and this is how I am going to show the people that it is not okay. Now, the incident that needs to reveal as it relates to SSL, Prime Minister, you and Jones is stopping it. Yes. The entire world know that, okay, if you were dealing with transparency and balance and being honest, you could say, right now, Prime Minister, I'm not asking you that. You have the power to do that. Release the Crawl report. You have gone to Bolt's funeral, Bolt's father's funeral, right? And you speak so highly. But yet we know that you are hypocritical. We know that we see the traits of your behavior and we track your history. That is who you are. Just like when you speak out against Adhan and at the same time you are being investigated. Just like how you deal with the house in St. Catherine, right? And then your bulldozer. We understand that is your behavior. Right? Yes, this is your MO, what we call modus operandi. Big up yourself, megawatt, then in the chat, expert the core, you know the thing said. Now, let me say something to you, Andrew. If you want Jamaica to have a serious look inside SSL, you would have released, you can instruct to release this the Crawl report, and they would have to. But no, because you know what, Prime Minister? You know what? You are involved. You're
100% involved. You are one of the mastermind. Not only that you involved. Not only that you involved. Your involved is not at the basic level. Right? And so then, we know the players of SSL. We know that the Prime Minister is the mastermind. We know that Hugh Krasker is one of the mastermind. Mark Krasker is one of the mastermind. Darrell Vaz is one of the mastermind. That's why the Clark report cannot be revealed. And I'm going to show certain things as it relates to every lie that Nigel Clark told as it relates to the Crawl Consolidated Report. Nigel Clark blatantly tells some lie. But before I prove the lie, right, that he said, I am going to play what Bolt said, and then I get into the crowd report, where Bolt is saying, people, want to stop asking me if I get no money. Me not get my money. Period. Bolt said, me not get no money. Period. Now, if the Prime Minister respect Bolt as an icon, right? Bolt would be one of the persons, if they are going to give back any money at all. Bolt would be one of the persons who would have gotten back some money. But Bolt is saying, me not get back, me the icon not get back no money. And simply nobody get back any money. Look at these people. I'm going to show Jamaica something. How Andrew Holness is extremely wicked. This man is extremely wicked. And I'm going to show the Jamaican people what Nigel Clark did.
I'm going to get back my money. Don't stop. Because me hear people say, oh, you say, you say, you just am quiet. If you know who I am, no matter what I go on in my life, you know I'm going to say nothing about it. Yeah. And as the person does make it just flow through until it leaves. Yeah, I was saying the most you do, I like it. Exactly. I said this, I did most me about this. Yeah. You understand? So, but me, I tell you, me not get back my money, people. So they stop seeing me and I ask them to get my money. Is there any way
like you probably think about suing? Like, and who you sue? Like, is there thoughts of suing?
So a whole lot of things floating around. Is a answer, but at some point we have to figure out something and make a move. Because you can't just lose all of that stuff. Yeah. A whole part running hours that.
No form of communication.
No, you communicate because we do have a lawyer looking, but so you communicate, but it not get nowhere where you can't say, all right, I'm happy with in the direction it's going.
Right.
You understand? So I'm happy, but some of it, some fixing of it going, isn't it? I have avoided, like, you must say, because of who I am. There's a lot of international people have called. Yes. Say, do you want to speak about this? I said, no, man, in time. Even when I do things, I tell you, we cannot speak about this.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if me start speaking, I hurt Jamaica a lot. Because now it come down and everybody has to look and I say, Jaja, so I try to avoid that as much over the 2 years. But I don't see now when I can say it and feel good and say, you know what? Great, but now at some point I have to start to say something. Yeah. Because I not see nothing. Clearly, it look like I'm going to apply some pressure.
Right.
Or do something or start make a whole lot of questions being asked.
Do you somewhat feel betrayed?
Yeah, it's better.
By Jamaica, in a sense.
You can't, it's not the country, we can't argue. It's just, for no say, the people who do this can actually do this. Is the master. Yeah. And just so. Because I get a whole lot of support from, I get the regular people. Yeah. Really are cuss and give out them money and the rest. So. That's why as I said, that's why I make my whole back. I say, no, I get the support from the people. Then. So let me see if that is going to be enough pressure for them side. You know, they go try to figure out something and try to help him out, but nothing now go on. So at some time I have to speak and say, big man, I need back my money. Yeah. You understand?
But again,
take it away. Well, let me try Let me show Bolt the truth now. Let me show Bolt the truth. That you're not getting back your money because the Prime Minister involved. How many people? Me know some Morgan must vex. Me don't know if you want to finger lawsuit over here. So. Yeah? Bolt, you're not getting back your money because the Prime Minister involved. Now let me show you. Now go through the consolidated report and show you. Lift up the consolidated report and make you show them so the Prime Minister involved. And show them that Nigel Clark defending the Prime Minister. Telling lies. Now here it is, people. Consolidated update on SSL. Now, let us read this for a while. The fraud at Stock and Security Limited is of public interest. The Financial Investigation Division has reported that the fraudulent schemes are now estimated to have affected over 200 accounts. The extent of the fraud exceeds $3 billion in value. SSL was a boutique wealth management firm with assets that represented approximately 0.6% of consolidated financial sector assets. At the time the fraud came to public attention, SSL had custody of approximately 30 billion of client assets as a part of SSL off-balance sheet portfolio. There have been periodic updates from the entities managing the winding down of SSL, the transfer of its client balance to accounts designated by clients, and the investigation into the fraud. However, some members of the public have requested a consolidated update, which I now provide in the release, from updates provided to me by the FSC, the FID, and the temporary manager. Now, let us look at some of the lies that Nigel Clark tell. And Nigel Clark knew very well that this was going to be discovered. The truth was going to be discovered, and him lift up and left this. Because he know that we are in social media and we are going to find out the truth. Now let us look at 2.0, transfer of local securities. All of this, what Nigel Clark said here, is a vicious and callous lie. 2.2, transfer of local securities. Transfer began in September and as of April 16, 2024. Total lie. 1,000, bulletin point number 1, 1,230 clients accounts totaling approximately 15.37 billion of local equity and fixed income securities were transferred to accounts specified by these clients. Andrew, Nigel Clark, the government, you all know that this is a blatant lie. Why tell this lie? Why told this lie? This is a blatant lie. Nothing of this is true. Bulletin point number 2, Jamaican dollar cash of approximately 665 million for 338 clients has been paid over to these clients. This, you know that is a callous lie. The government conspired in making this lie, creating this falsified report. Therefore, a total of 16.35 billion and approximately 70% of Jamaican dollar denominated assets held in SSL off-balance sheet portfolio have now been transferred to clients. Vicious lie. Vicious lie. Jamaican dollar denominated assets, including Jamaican equity and fixed income securities and Jamaican dollar cash. For the remaining Jamaican dollar securities totaling 7.6 billion in value, the temporary manager is pursuing an agreement with a trust company of the end of transfer of these remaining Jamaican dollar assets, which will be held by the trust company in custody for the clients. More details will be provided once the agreement is finalized. SSL continues to process requests to transfer available cash balance. Again, dangerous lie. Dangerous lie concocted by the government. Clients are required to submit their requests, including payment detail, to the service team. Clear lie. Clear lie. So people, let us move down to 4.0 as it relates to the investigation. Right? I just want to show people something. Now let us go on 4.0, and this is what Paula Llewellyn, Andrew Owens, the entire Jamaica Labour Party administration is covering this. Is covering this. So Andrew Owens, if you have any care, any at all about, why not release this? This year that I'm showing to the people, let me read it to the people. As I mentioned in my opening budget presentation as a call to Lion, Nigel Clark, in March 2023 and again in March 2024. With respect to the investigation into SSL, the policy position of the government is that we will make available whatever resources are required to ensure a thorough and fair, complete and independent investigation. Let me talk about that, what you mentioned. Nigel Clark, Andrew Honest, all of you know that you lie on the DPP. You can't have a crime scene and you don't protect the crime scene to investigate the crime scene. SSL is a yellow tape entity, should have been a yellow tape entity. Simply mean that the crime scene should be protected. You understand? Rattigan as a former FBI supervisor can attest to that. You have a crime scene committed like this of SSL. The first and foremost thing in any civilized democracy, the crime scene is going to be protected. Why do we move to protect the crime scene? We move to protect the crime scene to preserve every evidence within the perimeter of the crime scene. And so then, what should have done, the area should be photographed, right? The scene should be properly combed, evidence should be collected, all the necessary evidence should be collected. But you leave a crime scene open for it to be tampered with and still allowing people to work in the space. This is madness, Andrew, and you know that. Because you're guilty. You're involved. You want every evidence to be destroyed and tampered with. Let us move on. Investigation, independent investigation, we will also leave no stone unturned. No neither class to get up on your gun. Follow the evidence where it may lead. You didn't do that. What happened to the relevant evidence that ought to be collected? And seek international assistance. Let's just talk about that. So then, you tell people lies over the years that the FBI is investigating. You know very well they couldn't call in the FBI in this. You let me make Jamaican people know this. You know damn well that under no circumstances that you have made the FBI involved with something like this. Because if the FBI involved with something like this and any money that touches the Swiss system, it is goodbye for Jamaica Authority. Jamaica Authority will be no more in control of this. And you only make sure that you, Nigel Clark, don't pursue the FBI to involve in this. Who you take feed that? Remember, some young Rattigan in the United States, you know. Who you take feed that? So you know very well that you do everything possible to avoid the FBI to get involved. But anyway, on the hypocrisy, you see Carl. What do you think? You think Carl will go cover for you guys? Carl is not going to risk. You understand their career? The thieving folks like you know, the Edward Morgan accomplice. Carl is not going to do that. Carl is not going to have them years of character risk as a result of Edward Morgan DNA of criminality. Carl is not going to do that. Now let us read on. As previously updated, Carl Associate UK Limited, a renowned international investigation firm, you get that right, was engaged to undertake an independent forensic audit to understand the facts relating to the fraud perpetrated at Stacks and Security Limited over the period 2010 and 2023. So this is what you do, you know, guys. Mix up the truth and lies. Mix up the truth and lies. Yes, when you talk here about Carl, you understand that, of course, renowned international investigators, yes, that is true. That is true. But guess what? Mixing up the truth and lie, the report that Carl give you, now you hold on for it. Now the company was selected because it did not have any connection in Jamaica and because its vast experience, given the complexity of the matter not really complex. The matter not really complex. The matter is complex because the Prime Minister involved. That is what caused the complexity. The Prime Minister and other member of Parliament involved in this. Darrell Vaz responsible for many GLP accounts in SSL. So that is why it's so complicated, because Darrell Vaz responsible for many of the accounts in jail in SSL. Darrell Vaz get benefit out of SSL, using SSL money to send his daughter to university. What me say? Who are vicious set of people. The volume of transaction, the number of accounts held by clients, and the number of bank accounts held by SSL network of companies. The CRAL team, working with the support of the government agencies, including the FID and FSC, utilize technology, data analytics, and forensic expertise to produce a comprehensive and independent report of its finding in November 2023. Let me stop right there, sir. Because I remember quite well where you have the DPP, Paula Llewellyn, said the police and investigators must work in tandem, particularly when it comes to financial crime. Because she's not so fancy of the financial crime. But support Mrs. Paula Llewellyn. If you're not so fancy about financial crime and you refer to expertise, then why are you now so contrary? Because the same expertise now had done their investigation and give you the expert analysis. Then why don't you take the expert analysis? So what are you saying? That you are now better than the expert analyst? You have more experience than the expert analyst? That's what you're saying now? And that you need more documents to come by? Are you the expert? No, you're not the expert. You're not the expert. That's why the government seeks oversee help, because you, Paula Llewellyn, is not the expert. So then if the government pays taxpayers money to go and get the expert, and the expert came and completed their report, why Paula Llewellyn still sits on it and asking the expert to provide more information? Then Paula Llewellyn, if you are more expert than the expert, why didn't you do this investigation? From start, why didn't you order this crime scene to be protected, and you and the police officers then deal with the investigation starting from A down to Z? Why didn't you do that? You're a damn old dirty hypocrite. You're a hell of a woman. The CRAL report has confirmed that the suspected fraudulent activity and mismanagement at SSL and its related parties were much broader than initially understood. You think they will go cover up phone? I'm not cover up phone. With the benefit of this report, their own investigation and through collaboration with other law enforcement agencies, the FID has publicly reported that a fine was submitted to the Office of the Director of the Public Prosecution for the consideration of criminal charges. Paula Llewellyn. How would that go? Let me ask a question, Paula. Who are these persons who are to be charged? What I meant to the people in seminar show tonight, you may show them. After me tell the people in seminar show. I'm calm about the voice. So Paula Llewellyn, let me ask you a question. right? You have now given a comprehensive report, right? For the consideration of criminal charges. Domestic sensation is just simply asking you, who are these people that the recommendation to be charged? Is Andrew Wallace is one of them? Is Darrell Vaz is one of them? Is Darrell Vaz one of them? So I want to know that. Is Andrew Wallace one of them? Is Darrell Vaz one of them? Please let us know. Let me go to the panel. Take it away. Yes, Brother Rattigan, just showing the complexity of the matter. What makes the matter complex is to the fact that the Prime Minister involved and other members of Parliament involved. Now, as you see, Brother Rattigan, that they avoid having the FBI come in, and of course, fraud came in, completed their investigation, handed over a comprehensive report, and recommend charges, right? And here, Paula Llewellyn sits on it. What say you on the matter?
You know, it just, I'm going to file an ATI tonight. I'm file, I think 3 or 4 already today. And just so the editor know that I filed about 2 or 3, I think I filed 4 of them today, and 2 or 3 of them had to do with the editor directly, and another 2 had to do with stuff that he said. So that they when and I sent it to the entire government. So when they see it, they'll know. By the way, government, if you're not watching, the one that I sent to the entire all the ministries and the 2 offices, that had to do with something that the editor and the editor/senator said. So if you don't see it, I don't wonder why is it that practically gonna pressure the whole government, all 15 ministries and 2 agencies.
All right.
It's because of something that the editor/senator said. All right. And I had some other ones about him personally. So we're gonna see how them work out. But I'm going to file 1 tonight. And I'm going to file 2. I'm going to file 1 in America, and I'm going to file 1 in Jamaica. We'll file it in England. We never get information. But while I'm listening to you, it dawned on me why we never get the answer in England. Yeah, it dawned on me. Because we were asking for the report. They won't give you the report. There are things you can ask for that they can give you. And then we can prove that Nigel Clark and all the others, Dr. Clark, that they lied.
They lied.
They lied when they said the FBI was there. So here's what happened tonight now. And we can't tell them because you have to hide. Do everything straight up. I'm going to ask the FBI tonight. Tonight, I'm going to ask them. Was there an FBI delegation sent to Jamaica to assist in the SSL investigation? That them can't answer. Because you don't ask for names or what they did. You just ask for simple information concerning travel.
Yes.
Now ask the Jamaican government the same thing. Ministry of Finance when they prepare themselves, you know. Office of the Prime Minister preparing themselves. Minister of National Security. It'll come tonight, man. Now I ask you, because guess what happened? The gentleman who I think he's still in charge of what do you call it? The one that Fitzbailey was in charge of before he became the big shot. What do you call it? So it has to do with terrorism. You know it, man. The agency that the component of the JC that he was in charge of.
Yeah, we are trying to find it. I know where you're talking, but the name, just like it's
terrorism. Anyway.
Yes.
Anyway, the gentleman who after Fitzbailey left, the man who took it over, he was interviewed, and he said, "There is no FBI here. He said, this is an investigation that can be conducted locally.
Yeah.
And
you're talking Ratty, CTAC?
CTAC,
Yes.
counterterrorism and organized crime. Yeah, that one. And him said, if we need the FBI, then we will call the FBI. But at this point, we don't need the FBI because this is a local investigation and we have the talent and the skill and the competency and the wherewithal to deal with this. That is what I'm saying now. And then Dr. Clark came back and tried put back the toothpaste in the tube. But it never worked. The man spoke the truth. The FBI was never there. So we're going to ask them tonight to tell us. And I fully expect that they're going to come and tell us, well, blah, 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 blah. But we're going to fight them for that one. And we'll find the one over here. And we're going to see what happens. Because once and for all, we have to put this thing to bed. Because, you know, it's for us, it's not hanging out there, but for a lot of people, it's hanging out there. Because the moment that Dr. Clark can say, well, they're coming, people say, well, yeah, maybe they come and you didn't know. No, they never come. They never, people don't listen to me. They never come. It's that simple. They never come.
Yeah.
They never come. And they've been feeding the Jamaican people this big fat lie that the FBI come and how come we don't get a report? How come we don't get a report? And then we have the DPP saying that we must be careful how we talk because it might jeopardize the case. Come on, no, man. If you have the evidence, you have the evidence, or you don't have the evidence. By the way, the evidence gone. Remember them thief the two computers. So the evidence gone. The evidence gone. Like you said, that whole building, they should have just wrap around with yellow tape till they can't see inside of it. Because it was one big crime scene. And you have people contaminate the crime scene on a daily basis so they might go work.
Just look at
and
that.
them have people the FBI would never make that happen. They would have said, here what, seal this place off, get rid of them people, and then we go in, and then we will get our forensics people, and then we would go in at the computers and figure them out. They have ways and means of doing it. But you have somebody, people who used to work, they are coming in and work every day, and you have paid them, and you don't know what they might take out, what they might put in, you don't know. And then the next thing you know, them say man jump through a window and was to thief the computer. And if you notice, you don't hear nothing more.
Nothing
more. At the very least, those computers should have chips on them that they can trace them. Just like how, you know, them can trace the phones. You know, the Prime Minister tell us him can't find them when they're ready for you, you know. Right? Them should have something like that. If you have at least if you have it as a working station then. You're supposed to have that and knowing how Jamaica still. Now the evidence gone. I don't hear anything more except the DPP are come tell us that we mustn't talk about the case because it could jeopardize the prosecution of the case. People, we know how this going on. We know what this going on. They have one person arrested. One digga person. When we really think they might go arrest Crossgrave. When we really first of all, them they in the country. I think they might go arrest them. Well, I think they might go arrest all the other people who are linked to this. No, them not gonna do it. But you know, they will lock up door. You try to go pick a Aki pan the King's house. Aki or Mango. I don't know which one of them the man go pick. Go try to pick one. Aki. Go pick one if you're bad. Go pick one and you see how fast them find yourself. You. But them thief are. Oh, and by the way, you see him? He make a statement saying that him don't want to hurt Jamaica. And then come back and say, it's not Jamaica, Jamaican people, something like that. We're saying, stop make excuse for the people. Stop make excuse for the people. Because the power that you have in the media, if you went out there and said, this is not about Jamaican, this is about a crooked set of Jamaicans, people will buy that. Nobody going to second guess you. So this idea that in one back in money and from not getting money, you have to start a thing and you have got this and you have got that. Look, you know, by the way, condolences on the passing of your father, sir. But I remember right after the story broke, his lawyer said they might give them 10 days. 10 days, and say, him grant the letter to SSL people. 10 days. 10 days gone in a years now. 10 days gone in a year. So you see, I don't know what your strategy is. I don't know who is advising you. But the only thing I can tell you, I don't think you were being competently and comprehensively advised from the time this thing started. Because once you put it out there, say it's 10 days and you don't get your money, then you have to put up or shut up. You should have in a court and file something already. And as far as we know, nothing has been filed in the court system concerning the loss of your money. And the other thing too is that we're saying, don't be selfish. Lots of people lost money there. And you could spearhead that movement so that people could have get their money back. You could have done that. And yet still you sit back and you just think about yourself. You know, you said nothing about nobody else. Right? But you have the power, you have the force, you have the contacts. You could have done so many things to get this thing back on track. And yet still I don't hear anything. Now, am I blaming you? No, because I don't know all of the factors that you are considering. I'm just saying, as an outsider looking in, that if I were advising you, I would have said to you, you don't make that 10-day thing public. I would have never made it public, because now if you it's like them telling at the FBI, say you never pull a gun unless you're going to use it, because otherwise where it is, it's just just a piece of metal in your hand. So when you go do something, you make sure so you know so you're going to do it and you do it. So I would have never mentioned it. I would have privately sent them the 10-day letter, and if I don't hear anything, then the next thing is that we'll go public. That's what we would have done. And then we'll take it from there. But we would have to do something. We can't sit back and by the way, I'm still offering my services to you. Mystic is here. Mystic, jump on the team. Pastor Ricky is here. Pastor Ricky, jump on the team. The whole of we have some skill sets that we can apply and at least make an attempt to get your money back. Because right now I don't know if any attempt is being made. So the offer still stands, sir.
Yes. All right. Before I bring in Pastor Ricky to close out the show for us tonight, because I want to bring down Pastor Ricky to a special style. Now, so this have to proceed, Pastor Ricky, right? So let us play this before we put it in, Pastor Ricky. Hit it.
Time come. Some are got charged for corruption. Oh yes.
Run it again.
Time come. Some are got charged for corruption. Oh yes.
All right, Pastor Ricky. Now you are God. Come down, Pastor Ricky.
Mighty diamonds, yeah, man. But you know, camera leader Mark Golden, people have you, including me and everybody on this panel, as a man of integrity, action. So now you declare that, we all have expectation. We're gonna hold it to it. So man, I'm gonna get charged of corruption. The whole world will wait upon it. So thank you. But anyhow, all fun and jokes aside, yeah, man, I agree with what Sir Rattigan just said. Listen, you know, with all due respect to the icon, the legend, and we know him a grieve, and you know, so we're gonna try balance it with little sympathy at the same time, but we have to nail the icon, because for a long time we are defending him and I cry out to him and I say, you need to do this, you need to do that. And in the clip where you play him, I say, boy, I'm gonna watch the movement of the Jamaican people and what the people them have to say. Like Sir Rattigan said, excuse. Right now, the fact that 2 years from 2023 till now, January, when everybody discovers the SSL I go under, I blame you saying about lawyers why him not get back his money. And lawyers should know the rule of law and training in certain areas. And please correct me if I'm wrong, Sir Rattigan, as a lawyer on the panel, they have so many resources and tools that they could have used to ensure. We offer free advice. You saying take your family out of Jamaica before your father pass. Again, our condolences. We say get your father and your mother, your wife and your kids, and the closest set of relative to you out of Jamaica. You come out of Jamaica, you come to the FBI in Washington, D.C. The amount of clout and power, influence, what you saying have right now, if him did make that move a long time ago, heads would, if the FBI get involved, them are going to start with SSL and work them way all down to ADMAT. No, honestly, Sarah Tiga, you know what true I thought? The feds no leave no stone unturned. Them start at point A and them not stop till them follow the money. Financial crimes. And then $331 million involved in this. American currency is part of American interests. Everybody know that. That's one of the American interests. So you are I'm done with you saying Bolt on this money thing after tonight. I'm not talk about it no more because I don't know if him liars them are making mislead him for make him feel like we're gonna file a lawsuit, but wait till the next government come in. A taxpayers' money, it don't matter which government in a power, a taxpayers' money them have to go use to pay you back. But we want them get all accountable for what them do. So you know me, I gonna say to the Prime Minister now because him have this thing I say social media spread misinformation and disinformation. The younger people on social media spread misinformation and the affine bloggers them where them not have the truth, them are cuss and are going with foolishness because him put them out there and appear them out of positive media for defend lies and it now work. It a backfire. Them rise up Idi Amin and Rattigan them disarm him and put him out of commission. So him not really have nobody for defend him. But you more ask the Prime Minister. Tomorrow Wednesday, every Wednesday morning on the Avenue briefing, cabinet briefing, or cabinet conference. Can the Prime Minister step up to the mic a morning? Can the Prime Minister deny that his former attorney opened ADMAT in St. Lucia in 2008? Can the Prime Minister deny tomorrow morning that ADMAT had an SSL account that was opened by Mark Kraskery? Can the Prime Minister deny that Mark Kraskery oversaw the Prime Minister ADMAT SSL portfolio? Can the Prime Minister deny that what Sir Byron said that one of the 4 way of paying for the land was a payment out of SSL in 2011? Can the Prime Minister come out a morning at the press conference and deny that 2012, after him get a payout in 2011, the following year, 2012, that him start construction on the Beverly Hills mansion where him never have no money for start construction plan? Can the Prime Minister deny that in 2012 SSL was flagged and them have to stop all operations even though him was a part of it? Can the Prime Minister come out a morning at the press conference and deny that in 2017 or 2018 him under FEME government, under FEME watch, SSL was placed on the Jamaica stock market by a reverse takeover to C2 Music Company? Can the Prime Minister deny that? Can the Prime Minister deny that in 2019 him have another payout in SSL? In 2020 him had another payout in SSL? And in 2021, can the Prime Minister deny that him had the last payout of $143,000 from SSL? If the Prime Minister thinking big and bad, and we in our social media space are tell lie, can he come out tomorrow and deny every question what we just ask him? Can he deny that the Jamaica Labour Party had multiple accounts in SSL and that I don't even want to say criminal, but the man over Portland will claim him own Portland. Will go in Mexico in 2019, go collect kickback and split it with the prime minister. Can the prime minister deny that that man get multiple withdrawals from SSL, JLP accounts from SSL? So when you hear the prime minister talk, we do our research. We're not spreading a lie. We don't have time for them foolishness there. We have better things to do. The whole of we have family and other things we can do. What the prime minister need to do is resign from office. He's a criminal. He's the #1 suspect of why both losing money in a SSL. And so the burden of proof now is in the prime minister's court. We stand upon every document, evidence, videos, clips, everything what we know about SSL. We stand upon that without any wavering. The burden of proof is on him now for come out and prove we wrong. Say we don't know what we are talking about. Because that we are waiting for him to do. So make him come out a morning, Wednesday at a press conference. If him big and bad, because him run around with that whole OSA JCF police for proof him is a strong man. But let me tell the prime, him not have no jurisdiction outside of the boundaries of Jamaica. So him can try intimidate people in Jamaica. Him not intimidate none of we. And we're not afraid of no lawsuit because we can file counter lawsuit and bring it in a federal court and make you tell a federal judge under oath say we are lying and then prove say we are lying in a federal court. So that's the prime minister where he need to come out and tell the Jamaican people at the Wednesday morning press conference morning. Because enough is enough. At 200 account holders, money gone from SSL. Plus NHT money, taxpayers money, NIS money, taxpayers money, NHF money, taxpayers money, banana board, taxpayers money, accumulated to be almost 1.3 billion Jamaican dollars, on top of the 31 million US dollar. A grandmother who's up in age, broken heart because she put $60 million what she inherit in her SSL, go SSL 5 times and couldn't get a payment. But look how much payment the prime minister get from SSL. And there's no information that he put any money into SSL. But we have whole heap of information saying get whole heap of withdraw from SSL. So we are thorough. Our analysis, our investigations, everything what we do in other space, Sir Rattigan, Mystic Sensation, Father Lonesome, Melting Pot, Jeffrey Tavares, everybody, Andre Stevenson, OB, Talk Your Mind, Atta for the Press, Anessa Belrose, Bowler, the whole of them, everybody in the social media space. We have the facts, we have the truth. So the Prime Minister now, the ball is in your court and the burden of proof is on you. Election is coming up. You should not be on the ballot, #1. There are 7 other criminals in the parliament that is under investigation for illicit enrichment. We know who they are, but we're not going to call them name and preempt the investigation with the IC. And it's unfair to the Jamaican people to go to the polls voting for criminals that should be prosecuted. So guess what? Until the IC reveal the other 7, every last MP in the Jamaica Labour Party is a suspect for illicit enrichment. Back over to you, Sir Byron. Thank you.
Right. As it relates to Brother Rattigan making a heavy punch there, telling us the truth, and Pastor Ricky again hitting home, right, telling us the truth. We are going to just talk to a few callers, right? Let us see if we get back Patricia in the space, and others who were calling, right? Not getting. So we're hoping the phone line for about 5 minutes. If no one calling, then that's it. All right. So
Please with the report.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello.
All right. Here is Sister Pat on the line. Yes, Sister Pat.
Yeah. To the mystic.
Blessings.
Listen now. In that class, you know. Well, listen, when we learn. Pastor Ricky, I please have for you. Tell me about the tower, baby. When the people them have make it tower, me don't know it's so good. And they must say I go too far and got that some might speak Spanish, some might speak Latin, and some are confused. No, I did know it's a prayer work. But now me prove more it's a prayer work. Because right now the Labour Party is in a 3 parts.
Oh yes.
They are confused. And look, the election supposed to come as well as say by September. And I can tell you, I live in Jamaica. I do not see a Labour MP a campaign. Right? Let me tell you that. Them confused. You tell me now. Incumbent, and I mean to say the person who is in the position now, and you in the government for 9 years, you still have about 6 seats or 5-4 seats, we can't settle. No prayer.
Exactly.
That show you, Andrew Wally said, the money then when your teeth, it can't help you. Can't help you, brother. And from my heart, from every brother running at me, me I tell you no thanks. We have them pan heel and a toe and everything. Them don't know what to do because you can in an election season and you the pan losing side and you come out a content teacher to go have license $1,500 and how much year in a prison. You see, then just confused. They drink up the rum and the whiskey, and then know what you know. They answer bite them, ticks bite them, and they get up. You don't know what happened. But I can tell Jamaican people, we are suffering now, but we are riding out because God is at work. And to you people in the diaspora, especially you with the social media, where carry a university, 1 million thanks to UNO. Word, there's no adjective in the dictionary to describe the way. Oh, we thank you. We thank you from the bottom of our heart. We don't have money, but we have love. And we have in our prayer. Because with UNO, there is hope. With UNO, there is hope. And I confident myself, say, what are they ready to pay house there? Me have to get one. Come here, go mark holding door, we go sit down. So me have to get one. Because as to my age, I've been working over 30 years. And every time I check housing trust, to the type of work where me do, and to the slackness, where in the country, they collect your money, you see it for the pay slip, and when you check the institution, nothing. Right? From what they say, me go check the NIS. And Mr. Mark Golden, we love you, we respect you, we appreciate you, and we are going to work with you. We know saying that going to be butter pan bread, especially in the first season, because we can tell you, Mark, you are going to get a broke country. You're getting a broke country. But anyway,
that's true.
You don't know if it fix you. But remember what you say, when the right time comes, to go charge for corruption.
Pull up.
If you ever do that,
all right,
we have to go son you in our parliament.
Remember me tell you,
and you have to come to where I say, to my age now, I feel to pass on the back. If you ever do that, nobody can stop you. You have to come to it and say, well done and thanks, and me a go home now. Remember me tell you. And tell you now again, Mystic, Ratty, Pastor, and the world blogger. God bless you.
Love your sister P.
There is hope in Jamaica. There is hope, and we are all on.
Yes.
We are fight. We are all on. We are band with medical. We are a resilient nation of people. We thank you. And me tell you, by name change. Marky G, me name out of Jamaica.
Love that.
Everywhere me turn, nobody remember my name again. Marky G.
All right.
Anyway, people have to go work tomorrow and probably somebody's one call.
Yeah, man.
Big up yourself.
Bless upon love.
Yes, this year you look in chair.
All right, blessings. All right, so yeah, we are going to close the night and let us play this clip in terms of closing the night. Go night, wife. All right, people. So we're saying, hit it.
When the time come, some are got charged for corruption. Oh yes.
All right. So people, we have hopes and we know what Marky G said. You understand? It's 100%. Forensic audit through all ministries. When the right time come, people, when the right time come, someone will charge with corruption.
Yeah,
well, I want to say
Sir
big
Byron,
time.
Sir Byron, what Comrade Leader Mark Goley need to do? We know him gonna win. There's no doubt about it. Him need for put a stop order at every port of entry. Nobody now run from Jamaica. Prison them go. Him need for revoke them visa. Get in touch with the U.S. Embassy. We know them diplomatic visa go automatically be suspended. But all the dual citizen them in the parliament to have U.S. visa and Israeli visa, him need for get them visa they revoke and put a stop order upon every port of entry. Even Ian Fleming's the trafficking hub airport in Jamaica where everybody know that's most of the trafficking are going. Him need for make sure so that shut down. Cause a prison the whole of them forgot. When the forensic audit start, nobody nothing leave Jamaica, the whole of them. And last point, Sister P, you're referring to Nimrod, the son of Cush, a mighty hunter, Genesis 11, who decided them can build a tower called Babel. Babel in the Hebrew language means confusion. And so them think them could have reached heaven that way there, but that was not God's plan for man reach heaven, even though man have the capability and the knowledge. But man a plan and God a wipe out. So him just confuse them language. And that's how come we have different languages on the earth. Because prior to that, the whole earth spoke the same language. But God in Genesis 11 confused them language to stop them from build that tower. So man a plan, Sister Pat, but God a wipe out. So that's why we don't know for worry and fret. Just continue to trust God. Because the whole of them are go prison.
And as we said, knowledge is power. Any last word from you, Ratty?
Hold on. You're mute, Ratty.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I say we will continue burn the coal. Because you know them say we are burn fire, but fire has a source. Fire not just fire. It come from somewhere. And tomorrow night, people, please tune in. We have Come Reason with Ratty and Dr. Ben will be on the program. Don't forget to sign the Magnitsky petition.
All right.
We're going to do a fundraiser for the people of Jamaica for the reconnection rally. So stay tuned for that. Thanks.
All right. And there you have it, people. Well measured show tonight, right? Here in the breaking down by Pastor Ricky and Brother Rattigan. Pastor Ricky, I want to say big thanks to make it Mystic Sensation. And of course, Rattigan, big thanks to you. Obviously, Melting Pot was unable to make it tonight. Want to say, anyway, Melting Pot, big up yourself, right? And so, people, right, we are out. Love you all. We are not stop fighting for you who want a better Jamaica, better governance. When the right time come, some are going to charge for corruption. All right.
Same, sir. Take care.
What's up?